Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Ricada of Ricada Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And with me today is my very special guest and friend, Mr. Kurt from Uncivil Law.
What's up?
Hey, man. I'll tell you what's up. So I got back and I'm super excited to be home. And then I realized that I left my Stream Deck in my luggage. So I don't have my Stream Deck. I'm manually doing everything.
Oh my
Somehow,
God, you just can't push a button anymore. You might actually have to do things manually. Well, how will you live?
I have muscle memory built into doing all of this stuff, and it's all thrown off. And for some reason, my old intro is back on my home computer. I don't know how that's even possible. Like, physically don't understand how that would happen, because that was on my laptop. It had the old intro, but I don't know why it has it here when it's been the new intro forever. I hate everything. I hate everything.
Well, that's kind of normal. So, that's the same old, same old.
Touche. But other than that, things are going great. I'm back from Florida, which is very important because streaming on the road is terrible. I don't know if you've ever had to do it.
Well, I tried when I was with my parents because I didn't have any of my equipment, so I was trying to stream with my cell phone.
Oh, God.
Without like an external mic or anything. People were really bitching about that because like just trying to stream on my cell phone with a built-in mic, they were not loving it.
It doesn't work. You can do like gimmicky stuff with it, but if you're trying to do a serious show, which I've never done in my entire life, but you do them. If you're trying to do a serious show, it's awful. It's awful.
At the time I was trying to do a creative critique of the Pennsylvania Voting Act and its constitutionality therein, because that was the topic at the time.
I remember, yeah, you're out there, you're like sitting outside, you have the trees everywhere, it's gorgeous, and you're like, fucking phone. It like kept having troubles because that's how phone streaming goes for everybody except for like, there's a whole bunch of people who do it just fine, but I think you can only do that if you're in a major city, which has really good like high bandwidth cell service.
I was in the middle of the mountains of South Carolina, such as they are, so
yeah, so that you can't do that. That's rookie mistake. So I suppose we should explain the genesis of this show. I was streaming. I'm an innocent stream stander yesterday. I'm streaming, I'm doing my weird thing, and I'm just having a good time. I'm a couple drinks in, and then this guy just storms into the chat and drops a couple super chats and basically says, I hate everything about the Supreme Court and I'm drinking a lot and I challenge you to a drink off. And I was like, but I've already been drinking and clearly I think you had too. So that was probably a bad idea to start in medias res. And so I said, why don't we do it today when I get home? I also had really bad liquor down in Florida. It was Florida Man liquor. It was probably made in a toilet or a biff or something. And so now I'm back in the land of milk and honey. Like God has delivered me back to my own computer with my liquor behind me.
Yeah, it wasn't just that I had a drink. It was that I had just done this like almost 3-hour stream where I dissected the Google versus Oracle case and tried to understand it. And the majority opinion had some problems and was blowing my mind. And I was kind of going insane. So yeah.
Now, without me having read the case, because I have not, and I'm not familiar with the case overall, but I caught a blurb about it. Do I understand right that the Supreme Court basically said it's kind of fine that Google stole a bunch of Oracle's code? Is that?
Yeah.
And yeah. Now, I'm not a tech, but am I not correct in thinking that the code that Google stole from Oracle was basically Java? And the like funny background story is not only did Google steal part of Java, they then ended up being instrumental in killing Java as the main platform for web stuff.
So how technical of an answer do you want here? Because I can give you a technical answer.
I want the funniest one.
Okay, the funniest one is that Google liked the way that Sun Microsystems slash Oracle writes stuff, and they copied their writing style.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's the easiest, simplest. It's like, yeah, it would be, maybe like the equivalent of someone copying your show formatter in this increasingly weird analogy. But the technical aspect is that they copied the declarative code. See, my undergrad is computer science, so I am a tech, because
Yeah.
this was my, and when I took my undergrad in computer science, I wrote in Java, so that means that I understand this a little bit more technically. So they took the declarative code, which is how you're calling basic function calls, how
Sure.
Java writes them. So you could do like this java.lang.math, and you do the calls for the various things, and they copied that format. And for these 11,500 lines of code, Google did write its own declarative code as well, but then they ripped off 36 or 37 packages worth of Java's declarative code. And the way the Supreme Court writes the opinion, it's because people are familiar with Java, they're familiar with the format, they're familiar with how those function calls are done, and so it would just be easier, which to me kind of counsels against, because there's nothing inherently that requires you to use those function calls,
Right.
because there's any number of programming languages that you could do. The declarative code is even itself an expression of an idea, because other programming languages do it differently. There's not like there's only one way to do it. So the idea that if you couldn't use this declarative code, it would mean that the internet would break down and people wouldn't be able to use software, and dogs and cats would, be kissing in the streets and stuff, I didn't quite buy. But yeah, the Supreme Court basically, in my view, massively oversimplifies the fair use analysis in such a way that it makes you wonder if it's possible to not have fair use in this declarative code environment.
Right.
And I'm sorry, that was more
more
technical answer than you wanted.
That's good, because a lot of people in the chat understand it better than me anyway, so that's for their benefit. I would love to understand it more, but like I wrote a program in C that did factorials a long time ago, when my dad was trying to make me teach myself to code, because my dad worked for Cray for 35 years doing software support. So he had to code in various language throughout his decades there, all the way back to like COBOL and stuff like that. And then through, I don't even know what they do now. But so he was not a major coder, but he had to know the language enough and be able to write scripts and stuff like that. And the majority's opinion doesn't even make sense on its own terms, because they say things, they actually wrote something like, it would be difficult, if not impossible, for a programmer to create a computer program without these predefined libraries. Right. And I'm like, I know it's possible, and I can give you a very specific example of where it happened. When they created Java, because they weren't, they were creating their own stuff at that point, and all the stuff that came before. And it's like, if we gave Oracle a monopoly on this, that meant that for every computer program going forward, someone would have to pay Oracle a licensing fee. I'm like, no, because that suggests that Java is and always will be the most popular language forever. And no one could possibly come up with another language that could possibly compete with Java, because Java's always been the most popular programming language since the beginning of time. It's not like it replaced something that came before it. So, I mean, it gave me a stroke. And there's myriad programming languages out there.
That's what I was told.
Yeah, because I mean, you have C++, you have Visual C, you have I don't know who uses any of these anymore, but you have like Ruby on the Rails, you have
we can go older school than that. We can talk about Fortran. We can talk about assembly. I mean, we can talk about punch cards. We can go old school. Like, yeah, they said, well, it would be impossible to create a complex computer program without this stuff. I'm like, talk to the people who programmed the Apollo lander. It's like not able to program a complex computer system. I'm like, we landed on the moon with it. Seems like it worked out fine.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's there's a lot. And of course, these things change and develop. Actually, that's the funny thing, is that there is a specific point in which a potentially derivative programming language blossoms and becomes something new, and then it's a different programming language, right? Like that
Yeah.
happens. And we know it happens because there's a whole bunch of them. So
So I thought Justice Thomas's dissent was much better. I thought Oracle had the better opinion. This was a massively unpopular opinion in my chat when I did the oral argument react. It was a massively unpopular opinion when I was reading the opinion. I thought Oracle had the better end of it, and I didn't believe that people who thought that if Oracle won, it was going to lead to the end of the world and the end of software, and it means that I didn't see the parade of horribles happening. And the majority opinion makes you wonder what's left for copyright and declarative code, because it seems like almost inherently it would be fair use. It's very weird.
yeah, and so I got two things. One, I just want to make a quick point about Thomas. Not reading that, but hearing you talk about how he seems to have a better grasp on the issue and a better opinion. I also, last night I read Thomas's concurrence in the Twitter suit about Trump's Twitter
That's a good
banning.
one.
And it seems like Thomas is surrounding himself with clerks who are savvy on present issues in tech, is my guess, because he seems to have a grasp, despite, Thomas has never used social media as far as any of us know. He may have a limited private Facebook, but none of these judges are on.
Isn't the man 87 years old?
He's well, like when Jesus came back, Thomas said hi. So he's been around a while. But yeah, but so the way that judges adapt to newer technologies and things that they don't have experience with is they get clerks who are who are not only very knowledgeable on the law, but are knowledgeable on contemporary subjects. And I'm wondering if Thomas has made a concerted effort over the past couple of years to find out clerks who are good at this stuff, or if it's just kind of so ingrained in I guess modern students coming out that they just, they grew up with this stuff, so they kind of know it. But his social media opinion was fascinating, and it's phenomenal. I really like it. I'm doing a video on it tomorrow, more short, but I'm gonna have some more discussions about kind of the subject, because I think he did some stuff there. But I wanted to ask if you have the opinion that the Supreme Court, based on this and other aspects of code being speech, if this kind of falls in line with the idea that computer code is not is a weakly protected expression in general, because they're hesitant to do anything with like 3D printed guns, where and they're and the idea that CAD files are not necessarily protected First Amendment speech seems to be up around in the courthouse. And then there's this idea that software itself is not expressive speech, but it's this category of technical speech that isn't afforded protection. And maybe, do you think this opinion comports with that idea and supports it?
I think computer code is in a slightly weird category, because it's not just merely an expression. It also has functionality, because it actually does things.
Right.
It provides instructions to a machine. I suppose you could debate whether or not it's analogous to instructions that would inform a human being. If I gave you a manual of how to do something and you followed it, would that be equivalent or not? I'm not quite sure if that works, because it's when a human being is doing something, it's not technological. When a computer does something, it is, because this is, again, my day job is patent law in the computer software space, and because the computer is a technological aspect doing the thing, it makes a material difference in the legal analysis. So because Harry Potter doesn't do anything when you look at it, or when you read it, or when you watch the movie, it doesn't do anything. It just kind of sits there and it doesn't change anything. You watch the movie and nothing has changed. But when you run the code, something has changed. So it has this functionality component, which is very different to other kinds of expression. I guess the closest thing that it could be analogized to get to would be like sheets from a player piano. Maybe we could break out some of that old case law, but it's in a weird space because of its nature.
Yeah.
But Congress chose to give it specific copyright shout out. So now we have to figure out what to do with it. And I don't think the court knows what the answer is.
Yeah, it's weird because what you're saying is right. It's not really like code isn't inherently expressive. It is a functional sort of language and product. But at the same time, code can be used to create something that is protected. And that's the weird thing. Like, right, you could write an AI, for example, of hypothetically, that will create something that is uniquely creative and expressive. Right? Like you could, they have some things that are verging on this, but so this is theoretically not far, but like there's the AI Dungeon Master, right? So it takes a rule set like Dungeons and Dragons and it spits out an adventure and you respond with inputs to its outputs and it creates a unique, product each time you use it. And so there's hypothetically a place where the underlying code of something could not be protected, but then the output would be protected. And then that would be weird. So who would own the output? Would it be the coders? I don't even know.
Well, the patent office did put out a request for comments not that long ago asking about what if an AI is inventing patentable subject matter utility?
Right.
How would that change the patentability analysis? Is it patentable at all because a human being isn't involved? Is it to the original owner? How's that going? So, I mean, the patent office is looking into this question. The answer right now seems to be no, but they're studying the question with some care because of the issues popping up.
Yeah. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. I'm going to propose that we finish our first drinks.
Yeah. Well, I've been pouring. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, you're already going farther than me. This is the end of my first drink. So let me put that down so I can pour and keep up. We're gonna, to quote one of my favorite movies, right? Let's get pissed. And in honor of the Scottishman, I'm going to drink some scotch here. I have Bunnahabhain or whatever. I started with Kentucky Owl Bourbon. I'm now moving to scotch. And God, it's great to be back with good liquor.
Apropos the AI developing stuff, I did see that someone tried to, because Kurt Cobain died, what was it exactly? Was it 29 years ago? 27 years ago. Yeah, he died 27 years ago.
God, I'm old.
Like 2 days ago or something like that. And so in honor of his, because that was how old when he died. So he would.
Oh, it's his golden death day.
Yeah, something like, whatever that would be. So someone released a AI generated Nirvana song, and I don't know, it left something we desired.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna get some shit from chat, but I'm drinking, so I don't care. Let's be honest. Most Nirvana songs left something to be desired. There were a couple pretty good songs, but it was in this weird era of like grunge generative music and it seemed, I mean, it's pretty low effort, even on the poetry of the songwriting.
Mean, for me, Unplugged in New York is still my favorite album of all time.
See, and I remember watching Nirvana Unplugged on MTV, and very good stuff. But I'm just saying, like, and I like Nirvana. Like, I'm not a hater. I'm just saying that some of the songs seem like pretty low effort to me. Come on, Kurt, you tried harder putting that shotgun in your mouth. I mean, jeez. Rogue Jen says, I heard shots fired. Yeah, so did the police. That's why they showed up at his apartment. Or whatever. Also, Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain. Change my mind. She changed his. How many suicide Kurt Cobain jokes can we make in a row before we get, like, completely thrown off of YouTube?
3.
I've already done that. Oh, shit. Oh no. Okay. I've got chats from before the show that I want to hit right away. YouTube is awful and does this new thing where they remove.
Here's one I just wrote. Why did Kurt Cobain shoot himself in the head?
I don't know.
Never mind.
Oh, no. Viden the Cold One says 20 on rackets. I guess they're betting on us. I don't know what the competition is. Is it drinking, or is it swearing, or is it not passing out? I'm not sure. But I'll bet on me too. The Dragon's Treasure says Eric Swalwell is suing Trump and his supporters over emotional damages from January 6th. Claims he had to prepare himself for hand-to-hand combat. Sent lawsuit to you on Discord. I'm sure the filing will have zero hyperbole. It's okay. Eric Swalwell has lots of kung fu training from a certain CCP operative. I heard she taught him lots about kung fu grips, even. Timothy Reaper says, have you tried washing your penis with warm soapy water? Yes. Thank you. Funny Valentine says, yo, Nick, I'm a newbie to D&D and I'm looking to get into online play. What resources, tools, sites do you recommend? Hope you and your family had fun in Florida. We did. I like Roll20. It's a pretty good tool set. It gets expensive if you buy everything through Roll20, but for the basics and getting started for free, it's pretty good. And if you have a DM who has like the main set of stuff, most of your stuff can be done in the game and you don't have to pay anything. But I like Roll20. It's cool. It's cool. But there are other ones in the chat that people are going to know about. I've never used them. I've used only Roll20. But just go buy yourself a player's handbook or whatever, or you can probably procure one online through legal means. Most of that information is actually available for free on actually legal sites where you can. It's just not like laid out in the book format. You can look specific things up.
Don't they publish like a simplified guide, a simplified player handbook for free?
I think so. Or you can go to Target and get like the beginner kit that has like an abridged player's handbook and like a guide through level 5 or something, and you can get that for like $30. But just buy the regular one anyway.
I've tried playing D&D online. I found it a little bit difficult to find games that I can get into on a regular basis. Part of that's due to my own schedule of finding a regular time.
Yeah.
But I did like playing D&D when I played a lot of 3.5 edition, and it was fun. So
would you if we could schedule something regularly, like once a week or once every other week, would you be interested in joining a D&D game with me that we broadcast?
Yeah. Sure, why not? Be the new Critical Role. It'll be great.
We'll call it Hypocritical Role. That would be fun. We have to play the opposites of ourselves. So I'll play a female paladin or something. That would be good. But okay, we've got to do that. I've been meaning to schedule a D&D game, and I've been really lax on doing it, but I'm going to commit to do this. This will be good. Fac Uniga says, Nick, if all the people suing the Overlord were to vanish, does that mean he could be on your show sooner? Yes, but please don't kill any of them. Kiwi Farms is being sued by crazy people left and right. It's great. They're now being sued by Russell Greer. Are you familiar with Russell Greer?
Not particularly.
He is a paralegal. He is armed with all of the dangers of a paralegal, but nice. He also has Mobius syndrome, which means that his face is paralyzed and his lips can't close. So he comes across very awkwardly. He's also afflicted with something that is not so easy to diagnose as Mobius syndrome. It's called he's really fucking creepy. And he politely stalks women. I'll say it that way. Quite a bit. And so he also has a habit of filing pro se lawsuits against everybody all the time because he's a paralegal and knows more than lawyers, and they're always a catastrophic disaster.
That being said, I've known some pretty sharp paralegals.
Yes. No, I'm not ripping on paralegals there. I'm saying that is literally his reasoning that he states. Well, I'm a paralegal and I know more than lawyers.
maybe true in some cases, but
yeah. In this one, the claim is dubious, we'll say. But no, like a good paralegal who's been working for a long time and really is entrenched in this stuff has definitely a practical skill set that's very, very useful. He is not a paralegal that's been working as a paralegal, because after he sued Taylor Swift for like the third time,
yes, I remember this guy.
Yeah, his employers kept firing him, so he doesn't really get many paralegal jobs anymore. So that kind of hampers that whole experience bit. Fac Uniga says, P.S. Please tell Ethan Ralph as a friend not to sue Josh. Well, I mean, okay. Ethan Ralph, as a friend, don't sue Josh. There you go. Even if he stood on a stool, I wouldn't be able to reach that low with a garrote, not even kneeling. I'd try the shelving method, but I'm not sure Ralph has a neck. Oh my God. Sometimes the chat is such brutal assholes. No, I don't think I don't think any lawsuit is going to come out of that section. It would be a really dumb lawsuit. I said my piece on it the other day. I think it was a bad move to do the copyright strike in the first place. I just think as creators generally, especially if you get involved in any YouTube drama, it's much better to just make fun of the other person than to do copyright stuff.
Probably.
Juan, thank you for the donation. Fatal System Error says, been a while, been catching up on your streams. Love the rants. Agree with your storytelling rant. Always entertaining. Here's some rant money for future rants. Thank you. BG Willia. 21207 says, Nick's back, tanned and rested. And what did you do with the jaundice weirdo from Florida Central Casting? Well, it's that it was a completely different camera, and I left the camera there for someone to use because I didn't want it anymore. Thomas says, just to muddy the waters more, there are computer languages that create 3D files. The most common is OpenSCAD.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and that's a weird place to be. I don't think, again, one of the most wise things Thomas said in his Twitter opinion was applying these old standards and precedents to new areas isn't always that easy, but that's basically what we're left with.
Yeah, it's also interesting because anything you can do in software, you can do in hardware. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to, because why would you create a specialized piece of hardware? But you could. So you might wind up with this. You might wind up with this interesting issue where the hardware equivalent might not be speech, because there's no code in it. It's all the gates actually connected to each other. It's all the things actually done if you're doing it in hardware, but the software somehow is. So is the software different than the hardware because it's written in language or not? There's tension in here that's not obvious.
Yeah. And I don't have any faith in the Supreme Court to do it correctly.
Not until I get appointed, and I'll still wind up disappointing you.
You could never disappoint me. Never. Tina says,
I just finished my class, by the way.
Uh-oh. Tina says, I thought I was joining a Chad drinking stream. Instead, I got losers talking code. Look, we have to start off talking like losers so we can justify the drinking to get to the funny. So
yeah, legal education and drinking. It's two for. Not that lawyers are known to drink or anything.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was my favorite part of starting this whole thing. Was the like 15,000 comments I've gotten over the years. It says, you don't strike me as a lawyer. You drink too much. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a light drinking lawyer.
You might want to reconsider that comment.
I'm struggling to keep up with my peers on the drinking front. I'm working really hard at it, but they have years of experience on me. I remember when we would go out after law school, because we did night classes. So I did night classes, especially to start. And I'd go out with my buddies, and they would sit down, and I would have one drink, and they would drink 8 beers in the time that I had my one drink. And I was like, Jesus. And they're like, yeah, well, let's get in the car and drive home. I'm like, oh my God. But, you're law students. You're invincible, I guess. Plus, you can argue down the police officer. Stacy Dealman says, hi, Nick. Can you take a shot for me? I got injured at work and have to stay home for the 2 days. Your live streams make my day when I have bad days.
Your standards must be really low. 2 days. 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 2 da
Oh, jeez. I said you could never disappoint me, but that was a disappointing statement. So what are you looking at this week, man? What's on the docket? The Kurt docket.
Well, this week I'm going to try to release a trifecta of stories related to abortion. I did a case. I did Griswold today,
Oh.
released on Griswold, and I'm going to try to do Roe tomorrow and Casey on Thursday. So I got that coming up. I got a case dealing with an 8th grader who uh, self-deleted, and they sued the school, and so I'm trying to figure out how to appropriately release that because it's kind of a sensitive topic.
Yeah,
I
that's
want to
gonna get
also,
that's
yeah,
gonna be
I want
demonetized.
I want to do the NCAA case dealing with basketball and football students and whether or not they can get paid or not.
Okay,
So I think
wait.
that's really interesting. I want to do that one.
Poll in the chat. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Should NCAA players be able to market themselves for money? 1 for yes, 2 for no in college sports. I would love to get a rough opinion on this one.
Yeah. So that's coming up. And if time allows, I'd like to cover the recent Fourth Amendment decision that it somewhat expanded the use of the police excessive force to attempted force rather than actual force. So that's a bit
Okay.
of an expansion there in the law that I'd like to cover.
I am seeing a shocking, to me, amount of 2s.
Yeah, I'd say 2, which I know is not I would expect is not the popular opinion, but yeah.
But I'm surprised because to me it's a no-brainer. I think they should be able to market themselves for money. Like I don't. Everybody else markets them for money, so I don't see why they can't. Can you give me your opinion on it? Because I'd love to hear a learned counter opinion.
Well, here's how I think about it, and some of this may not be as true in reality as it is in the theory, so you'll bear with me.
Okay.
But the way I kind of see it is the basketball and football programs are an attachment to the university. So I think the first place to start is what is the fundamental point of the university?
Sure.
The fundamental point of the university is academic. It's to teach and educate. And so the schools create all kinds of things for their students, and the students created them for themselves because no one wants to just go to class all the time. So, they create clubs and associations, and sometimes those clubs and associations wind up playing each other and so forth. And then some of those, like football, basketball, became so popular that it wound up becoming a much more organized thing. But I think still fundamentally, the fundamental purpose should be the educational environment. So there's something very uncomfortable in my view with the players being paid, because what is the logical outgrowth of that? Does that suggest that players can be traded like they are in pro sports, which doesn't seem to be compatible with the university's mission? Does it mean that
That's the
is
diversity
it
of
like,
education.
huh?
That's the diversity of education. They're getting multiple viewpoints, one different one each year. It's beautiful.
Are all the going to be paid the same, or some universities going to pay more based on their success rate? Is it like,
Oh,
how is this going to be?
let
So
me clarify. I'm not sure I want the universities to pay these kids. I'm not necessarily suggesting that, but I'm saying utilizing their own likeness to generate revenue. So like they take a sponsorship deal with Wheaties or Nike or whatever,
yeah.
Massive Big Ten college running back.
This is going to sound like such a stupid thing, so you feel free to laugh at me, but I feel like the players being paid is somehow corrupting the purity of what it was invented for. And maybe we're already there because so much money is involved anyway, but there's something a little uncomfortable about it. So that's kind of what my thoughts go to.
Okay, I get the perspective. I think I'm just more jaded on the purity of the system. Plus, I find a disconnect when, let's say, an MIT student who's really, gets a full ride scholarship and is invited to join the MIT robotics program.
Mhm.
Theoretically, I believe that guy could go on Jeopardy and win a shitload of money, but I'm not sure an NCAA football player could go on a sports trivia show and win a shitload of money.
I guess because it's detached from the university, so it's not a university sponsored thing. If it was academic bowl, I don't know. It maybe my view is not sustainable. It's not. It cannot be logically maintained. Um, but I just if pro players are being paid because that is their profession, the primary objective is the playing of the sport, and things are tangential to that. So when they're getting paid, that seems fine. And then if they wanted to do things outside of that, then we'd be having the same discussion about whether or not it upsetted so part of, for example, the Colin Kaepernick discussion was whether or not his actions of kneeling on the field was interfering with the primary purpose of the profession of the game and detracting from that aspect. So that was part of that discussion. So I feel like somehow the purity of the university is an important factor here that I'm not sure the students being paid is fully accomplishing.
For me, I run into issues because like EA Sports, it's in the game. They run an NCAA football game every year. They use these kids' likenesses, and the kids, not only did they not compensate the children, they're not allowed, well, kids, they're fucking adults. Not only did they not compensate the players, they're not allowed to compensate the players. I have problems that the NCAA coaches can accept sponsorships on behalf of the team, and the coaches can get paid. So like the coach can say, you want my players wearing Nike shoes, that's going to be $250,000.
That's fair.
Right? So
that's fair. They're bringing in a lot of revenue for the team. Yeah, because the college, like we used to publish at my university when I was on the campus paper, we used to publish the salaries of all the faculty.
Oh yeah, and that football coach gets a lot of money.
Well, actually, the fact that football coach wasn't getting that much in official salary, there a lot of money. Their salary was good, but it wasn't that great.
Okay,
a lot of money was coming outside of salary. So I mean, their actual salary is only like $400,000 a year, but the actual pay is way more than that.
I mean, you say only $400,000 a year, but like your average professor's getting what, 135, 140?
Yeah, something like that at Clemson University, where you're in the foothills of South Carolina, and $400,000 goes a long way.
Yeah, I'm not shaking my nose at $400,000 a year. And then yeah, it's the lucrative sponsorships. Plus, I have problems with how the NCAA and maybe the solution is to go the opposite way and to clamp down on how coaching and stuff like that works out. But they can move coaches around, no problem. They can shuffle a coach, they can headhunt a coach without any implications. But
well, they can do that for faculty too, and faculty is free to move. So yeah,
but not
and for
players.
That matter, students can move. Well, players can move. I mean, there's restrictions, but yeah.
Yeah, the prior institution can force them to lose a year of eligibility, basically, which is inherently damaging to the student's prospects. I mean, whether or not it ends up damaging the student's prospects is a different question, but the fact that they could be playing 4 years and get more exposure, to prep themselves for that big payoff contract to go pro, the fact that they go from 4 years down to 3 years necessarily suppresses the choice. And I think it's a really interesting thing because, and that applies. And now, of course, there'd be no way to actually enforce this. So I get why they have it this way, but it also implies that, the motive of the student is to move for the purpose of football, and rather than just the student wants to go to a different school. The student's like, hey, I hate being cold. I'm going to move down to Florida.
I hate being cold.
Yeah, me too, man. I hate it. But I was just in Florida, and it was cold in Florida, and it was warm in Minnesota for a couple days.
There you go.
But
it's mostly nice here in Austin most of the time.
Yeah, well, except for the like minor socialism, Austin's pretty great.
Yeah, the minor socialism, but it's in control. It's less than DC where I used to live, so I'll take what I got.
Yeah,
I mean, Austin had 25% of its population vote for Trump. DC not so much. So it's improving.
It's true, but the food in Austin is great. Man, it's
the food in DC is pretty fucking solid though.
But I've never been there, so I don't know that.
Yeah, the food in DC is actually really, really good because it's got such a diversity, because it's got all the embassies there, and it's got really, really nice food. So.
Yeah. Thomas says lots of teams on BattleBots are sponsored by universities and have students on the team, but it is not NCAA, right? Because it's not athletics, it's nerds. So get wrecked, nerds. So there's that. Joseph Kerwin says, working with the API restaurant analogy, would it be fair to say Google copied Oracle's menu? Can IHOP photocopy and use Pancake House's menus? How's that for an analogy?
As an analogy, yeah, it depends on a lot of things. It would be where you're drawing these lines and distinctions are a little unclear. Is it equivalent to copying the words of a dictionary but not the definitions? Is it equivalent to also copying the definitions? There's some lines here that are a little bit vague about what you're talking about exactly. But the fact is, the reason that, for example, I don't think, because a lot of people in my own chat said it's analogous to copying the words of a dictionary. Sure. I'm not sure that's quite true, because you can rewrite the words themselves, because languages do. And so it's just moving past the API issue, because I think it's more complicated. If we want to talk about menus, you can't copyright facts, but you can copyright the expression. So if it comes to a menu, you can't copyright recipes. You can't copyright like the names of things, but you can copyright the layout. You can copyright the description of it. You can copyright font stylization, other elements of that. So you can't just full-sale copy the menu, but you can reproduce the same elements in a different manifestation.
So I can't call it moons over my hammy, but I can make moons over my hammy.
Yeah, you'd have to give it a different name.
Right. So at what point, there's got to be some point where a recipe is sufficiently creative and unique that it's copyrightable or patentable, right? Like
patentable. Yeah, you get there.
Okay.
Yeah, if you came up with a recipe that's sufficiently unique and non-obvious, yeah, you could get a patent for it. When it came to food, I mean, you do actually have some examples here. And there was actually a fairly famous example, which I thought got really bad press, where I think it was, I forget who it was, but they produced a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And this got a little bit of press at the time, because it's like, oh, people are trying to patent the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was a little bit different than that, because it was the way it was made to prevent the peanut butter and jelly from soaking the bread. So It was like inside, and there was some sort of orientation to do it. Now, whether or not it's unique or not.
Was it an LGBTQ peanut butter sandwich? LGBTQ PBJ?
No, yeah. So you can patent food if it's done sufficiently uniquely.
I'm just saying, you said it's orientation was how
uncrustable. Yeah, thank you. I didn't actually pick up on that, but thank you for making it clear.
Sometimes you say things with such utter disdain that I'm like, I think in this moment, Kurt hates me, and I'm okay with it.
See, I didn't pick up on it, and now that you've explained it to me, my opinion has become formed.
This is a relevant chat here. Night of Hope says, Kurt, very interested in this topic. Philosophical question on this. Is there a lot of value in these intellectual properties? In other words, is declarative code really in need of patenting? I'm not sure why it matters at this point. Genuinely curious. Well, I mean, it's billions of dollars to Oracle.
Yeah, I think that's kind of unfair, because one of the analogies I like on when it comes to copyright is anyone can write a book about a bunch of young students who go off to a magical school that teaches magic, and they're separated into houses, and they have a whole bunch of adventures. Anyone can write that book, but only J.K. Rowling can write Harry Potter. Right. So it's the idea expression dichotomy is what I'm alluding to. So what I think is, just as Harry Potter is one among many books, Java is one among many languages, and its relative success or lack thereof shows its acceptance in the market and its desirability in the market. And I don't think it should be punished because of its success, because the Supreme Court's majority opinion almost suggests that because it's become well known and because people are familiar with it, it inherently makes it fair use, which in my view is somewhat analogous, although I think the analogy breaks down because it's at a lower level than the Harry Potter example is. But there's something there where it's like, well, because people are so familiar with Harry Potter, they could reproduce a character. So that would be a little bit closer. Like they could reproduce the Harry Potter character in full because people are so familiar with it that it somehow becomes in the domain, even if they can't reproduce the work. And I don't think that's quite right. So, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Some are more successful than others. There's any number of creative works, any number of authors, any number of books. Some are more successful than others. Same is true for inventions, and you don't know necessarily what's going to be successful in advance. So I think that, saying that there's no point in copyright or patent for a computer language or its declarative code or other elements of it is a little unfair, because if you're accepting the premise that the declarative language of Java is being copied because people are familiar with it, that shows success in the market, which to my view suggests against the idea that there was no value there.
Right.
So, yeah. So that was a long-winded answer to your philosophical question. So hopefully that helped.
It didn't help me, but that's okay, because since you're in the world of IP, I have a question for you. I'm driving home from the airport today, and we're letting the playlist run through, and an Ed Sheeran song comes on, and it's I'm trying to think which one it is, but basically the writers of the composers of Marvin Gaye's "Let's Get It On" are suing Ed Sheeran over the song. Are you familiar with this case? Are you familiar with this? Have you seen this? You know this case?
Is this the one in the Ninth Circuit where they said that the feel of the music was copyrightable?
I don't know.
Is this older or is this new?
This is newer, I think, because they have said it's not actually how Marvin Gaye performed the song, but apparently it's how the sheet music itself is written, because he didn't perform the song as written. I guess he had a lot of improvisation and personal flair in there or something. I don't know. I was wondering if you'd Jay Leno'd this one, if you'd seen
no, I
it,
haven't,
if you'd heard about it. Okay.
But I don't see how it's relevant either way, because there's a copyright in the sheet music and there's a copyright in the performance.
Thinking Out Loud is the song.
Okay. So whether or not the sheet music accurately reflects the song is kind of neither here nor there. It accurately reflects a song that you could play. Right. So there's copyright in the sheet music.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, because I know, I know on one hand you can copyright music and note and chord progressions and stuff like that, but I know on the other hand, they've been hesitant to fully delve into the idea that you can own a note progression, right? So it's like, because someone tried to own like a 3-note progression. It was like C, G minor, C, or something like that. And they're like, okay, no, you can't own this 3-note progression. But at some point, like something becomes enough of a melody that you could say, okay, that is, or it may even have to be with like how distinctive it is. So if you have a sweet opening guitar riff, that may be like a short chord progression. However, it's so distinctive to an iconic song that they say, okay, you're clearly taking that sample and that's something different. Yeah. But they're that, like a guitar riff is more than just the notes on the page, right? Because it's not just a chord progression.
Yeah, because it's also the tone, which is influenced by the instrument. It's also the exact playing of the thing, because there's going to be deviations from player to player on it. I mean, even small ones. So there's a lot of elements, and the Katy Perry song with Flames song was trying to get into this aspect too. There's many different aspects of it that might lead to its copyrightability, but it's not an issue. Yeah, it's an issue of lifting something or not. And in music, I think it's a little bit harder than in the written word, because I think the shortest story that's ever received copyright protection was 6 words. I think it was Oscar Wilde who wrote it, who said, "For sale, baby shoes never worn." And that's the whole story. That's the whole. Yeah. Well, I'm using it as an illustrative example and discussing and commenting for the purposes of fair use in my educational environment. So go stuff yourself. But anyways, so no one would say that you couldn't use the words "for sale" again, even though it's a major part of the work, because it's only the work as a whole. So there's music is a little bit harder to work because what is the elements of music? But
Right.
yeah, you can't copyright like the chord progressions, or can't copyright the ideas, but you can copyright the full band. It's complicated. Everything is complicated. If you want to know where the exact lines are, I'm going to need about $250,000, seriously, because that's how much it's going to cost me to figure it out. So if you want a 95% answer, I can give you a 95% answer. If you want a 99.9% answer, it's going to cost you
$250,000 or free. I'm okay
I think
with.
it's kind of true of, I think that's true of law generally. It reminds me a little bit of how accurate, or to what level of scale you would want a physical object reproduced.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
if
No,
you want a physical object built at one level of scale or one level of accuracy, it won't be very expensive. But if you want it built at like really tight levels of accuracy, really, it gets increasingly more expensive in orders of magnitude. So one
right,
order of
because
magnitude increases the price substantially.
yeah, because it's adding literally hundreds of hours of research
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
refine
yeah.
it down.
Right.
Because you go from like a high level view where you go with maybe your basic knowledge on a specific field, and then you go, okay, this is the practical level where okay, I'm gonna make an educated decision about this. So I'm gonna polish up on some research and read a couple cases, and then I can give you an opinion. Then you've got the motion practice section where you're like, okay, now we have to take this into actually arguing about this in court a little bit, and that's the next level. And then there's like the full-on academic, I'm going to publish a paper. The ironic thing about that is that those guys barely get paid to publish some academic paper with thousands of hours of research and tons of resources thrown in. They do it. They end up, it's like a parabola of payment. You go from zero to paid a lot to paid zero. It's beautiful.
Well, there's an academic purity to it that's somewhat attractive, and those papers can be obviously massively influential. So,
but every time you say academic purity, my capitalism boner shrinks a little bit. So, because like you said that about the NCAA as well, and I think I'm just too much.
I want to talk about purity because because I'm German. I want to talk about the purity.
We will have an academic system that is pure. I've switched to Yellow Spot, by the way.
Excellent.
It's a fantastic whiskey. Yeah, so that is really interesting. I was talking to a lawyer the other day, and they were describing a similar situation, except this is in the practicality of a client wanting like a very clear expression of some area of law. And the lawyer said, look, I'm here to solve your problems. Like if you want me to write out this legal explanation law review, it's going to cost you a whole bunch of money and you're not going to get anything beneficial out of it. Like right now we need to focus on the issues at hand, not your legal education. You can go to law school and it'd probably be just, the same price. But, so yeah, that's kind of the way our stupid field works. And that's why I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
Super Iron Bob says, to build on Uncivil's position, the .NET Framework Design Guidelines is an entire book on designing declarative APIs. There is creative and technical work in the API that probably should be protectable. So there you go. Jeremy Chandler says, you missed my earlier $20 super chat. I did? How? How could I even miss it? I'll find it. I'm going to find it. Is the government unconstitutionally infringing the rights of the people if it refrains from enforcing a law that would have protected their rights? The answer is the lawyer one. It depends.
It depends.
And
that's
maybe.
Always the safe answer.
And maybe. Refraining from enforcing a law that would have protected their rights, there's some level of leeway that the executive branch gets in executing the law. If it materially interferes with a right, we have to determine if what level of scrutiny that needs to be tested to, and if it passes the appropriate level of scrutiny. And that's going to depend on the right. Is it a enumerated right? Is it an inferred right? Is it a statutory right? Is it a right at all? Is it a privilege? For example, you might have some level of right to clean water, which is passed by Congress with the creation of the EPA and the Clean Air and Water Act or whatever. And so the government has some sort of duty, maybe is a better way to phrase it, to try and provide you with clean water. But when people like the Sierra Club have sued the government for not properly keeping the water clean enough because they don't like George Bush Jr., for example, they ended up losing because the Supreme Court says the executive has some flexibility in how it enforces the law, so long as the overall mission laid out by Congress is being fulfilled, they can fulfill it in their own way, and that doesn't amount to the same idea that the Sierra Club has about what that outcome should be. Mm-hmm. So it gets really, really complicated. It depends on the right, is the answer there. And so I don't know what it is, because we can get really tangential and say, well, you have a right not to be raped or something. And then if a failed immigration policy led to you getting assaulted by an illegal immigrant, you would say that the government didn't enforce, and therefore my rights were abridged. And can I sue them over that? Well, probably not, in all honesty.
I'm about a third away through this liquor bottle.
Oh my God. Okay. And then you have Castle Rock versus Gonzalez. Are you familiar?
Oh yes, a great case.
How great is it? How much do you love Castle Rock? Like, really?
I'm not sure. I think Warren v. DC is worse.
Warren versus DC, I'm not familiar with. Hit me up. Hit me with the facts. Let's get dark. Let's get dark. Like,
you want to get, how dark do you want to get? Like this is pretty fucking dark.
Like a well done steak, baby.
All right. I think this is 1970. It's mid or late 1970s. This happens. Okay.
Like Kid Rock says, this is 1970 something.
Yeah, 1970 something. Okay. So here's what happens. These robbers break into a house. They break into a house, and there are 3 women living in this house. They're living on different floors. They all have separate rooms. And they break into this house, and the first woman lives on the second floor. They then proceed to sexually assault her. So her 2 friends who are on the floor above here call 911 and say, we're hearing something downstairs.
Okay.
The dispatch calls it in as something like burglary in progress, robbery in progress. The police car comes by. The police get out of the car. They just knock on the door. They wait like 3 or 4 minutes, and then they get in their car and they leave.
And they have dispatch as burglary in progress.
Yes.
And
all
those
knock.
Things,
yes.
This is amazing, given the recent case where, like 12-year-old, not 12-year-old, 12-hour delay on suicide threat amounts to them entering the home. So that's great.
So they called a second time, and they saw the car just merely pass by. Meanwhile, they still hearing the sounds from downstairs. So for the 2 other girls go through a window on the 3rd floor and are now on the top of their house or the top of the neighbor's house. And I think they called the police again, and dispatch merely labeled it as disturbance in progress. And they labeled disturbance in progress, and no car was actually sent. So dispatch failed to dispatch anybody. For some reason that passes understanding, the girls went back inside the house after having escaped. They hear some commotion downstairs. They think, oh, it's the police who have arrived. So they call out, hey, we're up here. The bad guys who are downstairs hear this, and they then go up and at knife point take the 2 other girls down to the 2nd floor. For the next 12 hours, they proceed to forcibly sexually assault the girls and force them to forcibly sexually assault each other for 12 hours.
This sounds like a hentai already.
It's bad. And then Warren sues because, the police didn't come, and they radioed them 3 times. They didn't come, and they didn't help. And the answer to what happened in the legal analysis.
All right. So
the conclusion of this.
Since we're getting dark, though, The police raided 3 times and didn't come, but the rapist did several times, right?
Yes, thanks for that. That's great. That's what I want to hear in my life.
If we're not drinking enough for that joke to be funny, we're not drinking enough. Come on.
The reason I wasn't using the word, by the way, is I'm so used to having to work around it for the algorithm for whatever help it's doing.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's certain words I can't use, and I'm going to trigger the algorithm. So I'm so used to trying to get around it. It's not because of me. It's because of goddamn YouTube.
I know. See, this is the fucking problem with YouTube, isn't it? They're so damn effective at conditioning our speech because we know that that if we step out of line in some minor way, in just a minor way, that can be enough. And their conditioning is so operant and so brutal. It's like, all the work you did on that video doesn't mean shit. You're not going to get paid on it. Sorry.
They did demonetize my Griswold video, which I thought was a very respectful take of it, but apparently used bad words, and it's been suppressed, and it's only gone like 300 or 400 views because it hasn't popped up in people's feeds because it's been suppressed.
Nope. And they will, by the way, they'll deny that that's what they do to videos. They'll deny it. I've talked directly to them and they say, oh no, that doesn't matter at all. It's like, no, it matters. I've been doing this for years now. I can tell when you do it, but, they're so damn effective at conditioning speech through the operant conditioning of like massive punishment. I mean, demonetization is a minor punishment in the grand scheme of things. Like, okay, one video I'm not going to get paid on, fine or whatever. But then when it's every video or when
it's not just the money. It's not just the money. The money
right.
is somehow even less important. It's about the fact that my message is not being heard.
Yes. Because
it's being suppressed in reach.
Because when I do, like I did a video on the Boston Marathon bomber, the Tsarnaev brother, because his death sentence was nixed by the appeals court, and so now it's going to the Supreme Court. Very interesting question. Will Biden, who was vice president when they went for the death penalty, but has now expressed distaste for the death penalty, will he try to go for the death penalty? Will he fight this case? So that's an interesting question. It got demonetized because it mentioned quote unquote terrorism in a non-fleeting way. And because it mentioned terrorism, it also gets a negative treatment. And like, yeah, the video gets no views and no money. And it's like, I don't care about the no money part if the video reaches new people and brings them into the channel. Like, that's fine. I'm okay with it. But no. And it just never got running. It never got to take off. So it was in a way a complete waste. I should have just covered it on a live stream instead of doing a video about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the way, I'm raising a glass to fuck you, YouTube. I'll say all the damn words I want in this live stream. Fuck you.
It's just really annoying. And that video I did about this 8-year-old who hung themselves with a necktie in their room because of this persistent bullying and suing the school district.
8-year-old or 8th grader?
8-year-old.
Okay, 8-year-old. Jesus, I thought you said 8th grader. God.
I didn't. Yeah. It's dark. The school, this student was bullied very severely 12 times over a period of 2 years, leading to serious physical problems, including knocked out front teeth, and my personal favorite thing, where the student was rendered unconscious lying on the bathroom floor for 7 minutes while the administrators did absolutely nothing. They also failed to notify the parents of at least half the instances, refused to allow the parents to view any footage. The student who notified the teachers did absolutely nothing to punish the bullies. The teachers also told the student that if they defended themselves, he'd be disciplined. And it just gets worse and worse and worse from there. It's bad.
By the way, get your kids out of public school. I can't say it enough. Get your kids out of public school. The first hint of bullying your kid gets in public school, get them the fuck out. Get them out. Get them out. Is your kid's life worth? Like, I am for some level of ribbing and bullying. I really am. I'm not a hypocrite in that sort of way. I was a terrible asshole in school. I get it. Never would I have brutalized some kid And so when I say I was a bully, I was just a jackass, right? Like I was just snarky,
No.
sarcastic. I mean, I know it's hard to imagine me in that way, but never would I have like routinely pummeled or punished, and I didn't have a target either. In general, it was just it was very general, like I make fun of everybody. Um, your kid is worth more than public school. Get them out. Get them out. They're not. You're leaving their lives in the hands of very incapable people.
For whatever it's worth, I had a mostly decent time in public schools, so.
Yeah. Have you, when you were in undergrad, did you know many education majors?
Not really, no.
See, in I went to school that was kind of acknowledged in the area for its education program. Um, Guys, lots of the cheerleaders were education majors. Let's just leave it at that. Let all of your prejudices against cheerleaders manifest into your thinking on that issue, because I would not trust any of my children with any of those people at all. No, thank you. No, thank you. Sorry, I stepped on your discussion of this case.
That's fine. No, that's basically the coverage of it. It's this student who was repeatedly bullied, very serious incidents, teeth knocked out, rendered unconscious, 12 documented instances. The school didn't notify the parents about a lot of them. When they did, they refused to allow the parents to see it. They refused to allow this person to defend themselves, didn't discipline any of the bullies. And so the parents are suing for wrongful death, and it's like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mess. But you can't, that's the crazy thing. You can't talk about it on YouTube.
The law sometimes deals with dark subjects.
Yeah.
The law sometimes is not a friendly place, and this is one of the things that's not friendly. It's like, and I think it's kind of important to talk about the unfriendly things, because I think people, including myself, don't know this is happening. I don't know what's happening. I just happen to come upon it. I'm like, I'm shocked as anyone else because I don't know about it. I don't know this is happening. It's like, I think people need to know about this because they need to know about the dark corners of the world. Dude, and apparently YouTube doesn't want let me let them know about the dark corners of the world.
When you told me, when we were talking on the other day, you mentioned this case, and I was just dumbstruck by the idea of an 8-year-old taking their own life. I'm like, they're 8. They're 8. Yeah. I think of my kids. I have an 8-year-old. I think of my kid who's an 8-year-old, and I'm like, how could their life be so bad at this age?
It was pretty bad. Yeah, I actually understand the 8-year-old's decisions on a rational level, and the fact that's true is kind of disturbing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is not like I'm not doubting the 8-year-old or anything like that, but I just think, I'm like, when my kids have a bad day, we're not like hippie helicopter parents. If our kids are having a bad day, they might have to have a bad day, right? Like they might, that's the consequences of their actions sometimes. But at the same time, like, there's compassion there, and it's used to teach the kids about the fact that life isn't always easy or fun. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want. Sometimes people are mean to you, or whatever, but it's always handled with compassion. I can't imagine being the parent who is not delivering that compassion to their kid because they're not even allowed to know it's going on.
Yeah, no,
it's
bad.
That's the baffling part.
The father who was listed as an emergency contact was never once called for any of the incidents.
Yeah, your kid's unconscious and you don't get called as an emergency contact. I almost said a bad joke there. Let's rein that in. That merits the school paying. There's no amount of money. But let's say,
I don't think any amount of money would let anyone learn. The thing that really disturbs me is I don't think there's a dollar figure that would cause them to learn, and that's depressing.
To me, that's jail. that is jail for the administrators, for the teachers involved, anybody who had the opportunity and the ability to know that the dad was an emergency contact and they didn't call him when the kid was rendered unconscious ever. That's jail. That's not just like, cause you're right. There's no amount of money. Now in this case, there's no amount of money because the kid is unfortunately passed away. Right. But let's say the kid was alive. Even then, first of all, there should be money, but second of all, jail, prison, long prison sentences. Like I can't, if a parent, if you think about this, if a child was knocked unconscious by one of the parents and the other parent didn't contact somebody or administer appropriate care, they would be at risk of losing the children forever. And the school at this point is the parent of the child.
Yeah, there's even a phrase for it in loco parentis, right? The idea that the school is standing in the stead of the parents. They are the parents. There's an idea of that. And yeah.
It's an infuriating subject.
So yeah, that's part of the subjects that I'm going to be covering in the near future. And then,
well, aren't you a bundle of joy?
Yeah, you asked. Just tell me what's happening, man.
Let's talk about murdering babies, and then let's move on to 8-year-old suicides. Next, we'll talk about the prolific child trafficking rings happening in Mexico.
Well, I could always start covering cases exclusively about infant and toddler sex abuse cases. That could be good.
Yeah, that I saw a guy just got prosecuted or charged, not prosecuted. He just got charged for attempting to solicit a 2-year-old for sex on the internet, which I found interesting because you know how you solicit a 2-year-old for sex on the internet is not by talking to the 2-year-old generally.
How's it even possible?
Okay, let me help you with this because I've done a couple shows called How to Catch and Convict a Predator, and they're always amazing because you're blown away by, one, the fact that these things exist, and two, the fact that people are stupid enough to fall for it. But there are incest forums where people will go and solicit a parent for access to a child. Now, as a practical matter, as a lawyer, who do you think is on the other end of that chat?
Some sort of police officer?
Yeah, it's a Fed. It's a Fed. It's always a Fed because while they may exist in some limited capacity, the overwhelming majority of parents are not going to do that. Even if they're bad parents, they're not. Usually bad parents are trying. Like they're really trying to be good. They lack a proper skill set to do it. And that's an unfortunate aspect of abuse. Not all the time. There are plenty of really bad parents out there who are intentional, but a lot of parents don't wake up during the day and say, I want to hurt my child. They wake up and they lack the capacity to not hurt their child. That's a different thing. This is a whole nother level of awful. But it's so I'm guessing, without even reading the story, I'm guessing that's what happened here. This person approaches, some sort of forum where they're like, oh yeah, this is where I'll find a parent to give up a child. And of course it's a Fed on the other end. And the worst thing in the world is reading those messages back and forth.
I don't know how the Feds that deal with it day in and day out, because I've had a little bit tiny of exposure to it from just learning a little bit about trafficking and stuff like that from various CLEs and other things. So I've had a little bit of exposure to it. But how they deal with it day in and day out, I mean, that's gotta be rough.
All you want to do is tie on a bandana and a mask and grab the biggest gun you can find and put all these people on the wall. Like that's like, I read those cases and I'm like, if this person was in front of me, have you seen Hostel?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. Hostel. It's like it's like a normie gore porn movie. It's not actually that gory, but they like drill into some chick's knee and they pop a girl's eye out or whatever. But the worst person, the guy who had it worse in Hostel, she's walking by, or they're walking by the rooms of the people getting tortured, and there's a guy strapped to a chair, and there's someone just punching and slapping them over and over. And it's like, that's a really long way to die. And that's what you want to do. You want someone to come in, tape up your knuckles, tie this person to a chair, and just until they're dead.
Wasn't there a specific name for that in antiquity too? Because that was a method of execution where they basically beat you to death. It's not quite right, but the same idea where they gave you enough of these blows that it caused you. Yeah, same. Yeah,
I don't know what it's called, but it's what certain people.
Should we talk about some really ugly methods of execution in antiquity to just round out this horror show? What do you think is the worst method of execution in antiquity?
I don't know, because like everything that you think is bad, like you probably, the thought of what is happening is probably worse. And there's probably something that seems more mundane that's really terrible. Like keel hauling is really horrific.
I don't know. I'm not sure, because if you were keel hauled and you basically have these barnacles just slicing up your body, I don't know. That's kind of quick in the end.
Maybe.
I mean, how long can that possibly last for?
I don't know, but they, they soak a sponge in olive oil or whatever, so you don't get a bunch of water in your lungs. So you have to get thrown over probably at least twice. So that sucks. But they also have stuff like the brazen bull, which
brazen bull was pretty bad. Yeah, that was good.
That would be bad. I heard of this one a long time ago called Little Ease. It was an English one, and it was a cell that was about the size of like the space under a desk. And you had to sit in this cell, and you had your knees up, right? Because that's all the room you had. You had your knees up and your kind of arms around your knees. You can't move much. You have to sit there and piss and shit all over yourself. And eventually, like, your muscles suck because they're just sitting there, and then they let you out. And when you stretch out your arms and legs, the shock of the movement and like the failure of your muscles ends up killing you, because you're so weakened already from your general health state.
Okay,
so like,
that's pretty good.
That's a long distance.
So here's the one that I think is the most brutal.
Yeah.
They stuff you full of food, and then they put you inside of a log with your arms and legs, so that like your body's inside the log, but your arms and legs are not.
Oh,
right?
No.
Okay. And then the idea is that eventually you're gonna, and they just let you there. And so the idea is eventually you're gonna defecate and pee yourself, and it's gonna attract bugs and ants to the poo and stuff, and they're gonna attract it, and then the bugs and are gonna start eating you while you can't move. That's I think gotta be the best. That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. There was one that they used to do that I heard about, and again, all of these torture methods, some of them might have been employed maybe once and maybe never. They might have just been invented and never employed. But there's one where you laid down they chain you down on the ground, and they would put like a rock or a log on your chest. And then every so often they would add weight to it, like after a day or two or whatever. And eventually it would be enough that it would crush you. But for the whole time, you've got like this labored breathing. Every breath is harder and harder to take in.
Pushing death by weight, wasn't that one of the things where in the Puritan witch trials, where like they used weights and pressing on you to make you confess, and one person was just like more weight till it eventually crushed them? Kind of a famous story.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I heard it. And then of course they have the flaying, right? Like just peeling strips of skin, which is always great.
Okay, flaying. No, I still think the bug thing's worse, but it's tough.
Flaying is faster than the bug thing, I would think. Like at some point, you just give out from how fucking horrific the pain is. I would hope.
Yeah,
I would hope. There was Dan Carlin did a great show on Hardcore History. It was a one-off show, and it was called Painfotainment. And it was the sort of the progression and the disfavor of the public execution. Really interesting.
I mean, public executions were pretty late in history. I mean, the French had the last guillotine was 1970 or something.
It's on film, yeah.
Yeah, it's on film, and hanging in the United States public was pretty late too. Early
The
20th century.
So there was this one that he talked about though, because he was talking about the public execution was like an event. I mean, this is the entertainment. You would buy
Yeah,
tickets.
it was surprisingly so. Yeah.
And he was talking about this one. There was a guy who tried to assassinate, I think, the King of France, and they devised a special punishment just for him. And they would use the tongs, and the idea was that they were supposed to rip off the muscles, like in the bicep and in the thighs, with the tongs, and then they poured molten silver into the wounds. And then they had
That'd be good.
they had to stab him with a special knife, and like it doesn't go the right way, right? Because like the tearing doesn't work right. You know, the inventiveness of the person was not based on actual ability to carry out the punishment. But it was really inventive, but at the same time, like it wasn't. There are simpler ways that are much more horrifying than that. But the public execution fell out of favor when it was actually like the idea of Christianity using public execution as atonement for the sins of what they were being killed for started to become popular with the crowds. And Dan Carlin told the story of this one guy who's being tortured by the executioner, but he's singing hymns that all the crowd knew because this was his atonement. And so he's actually calling out. He's telling the executioner, he's like, tell him we're going to start singing this hymn next. Like, and we're going to do this verse, you know, and that verse, they know these things from their church. And that's kind of when like the people are like, wait a minute. The public execution is supposed to deter crime. And here we are like having people on the side of the criminal for the atonement aspects of the redemptive quality. This is not the punishment we want.
Yeah. Speaking of the death penalty, I've come to lean opposed. I'm not strong opposed, but lean opposed for pragmatic reasons. I just think that on balance, it's not worth it.
That's kind of where I
accomplish. Yeah, I think the moral case is a little bit weaker than those who like it, but just on balance, I'm just not sure it's worth it in the end.
Yeah, my thing is that I think I distrust the government to do most everything. So I'm not sure why I trust them to accurately like kill the right person. Is the that's where I go, you know, I don't know. Now in some cases I'm like, okay, it's pretty obvious. And so I don't disagree with the state's authority to do it. But like you, I have pragmatic opposition. I get that you have the authority to kill a bad actor. I'm just not so faithful in your ability to accurately decide.
Yeah, and Kant would go even further than that, say it's a categorical imperative, which I think makes sense. And also for me, I don't think the threat of executing an innocent person, to my mind, is not that sufficiently worse to the life imprisonment for an innocent person. And some people will say because you can correct it, but I'm not sure that's really pragmatically true.
Because, like, so 50 years in prison or whatever is.
Yeah, I'm not really sure that saying, well, you know, we have the time to correct it. I think it's kind of a false illusion. So that's why I don't think the moral case works. Because if your moral argument is we might execute the wrong person, my counter is we might life imprison the wrong person. And then your counter to that is we have time to correct it. And then my counter to that is I think it's a bit of an illusion. I don't really think that it really exists. So that's why I don't think the moral case works. But when you think about all the money and time and energy and review and all the rest of it that we put into it, it's just like as a root expenditure. If you're balancing life imprisonment versus death penalty and you're looking at all the benefits and costs, it's just not, it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is because we don't just put someone on a wall and put a bullet in their brain, which would cost, $8 or whatever. The cost of the death penalty is actually higher on balance than the cost of a life sentence.
Very much so.
Which is weird to think of because you're like, oh, you got to provide room and care for this person forever. But because of the process and the protections of the death penalty and how we do it, the cost ends up being more. And typically that cost is borne by the state, because as the person is in prison, and because of the economic demographic of most death row inmates, you do not have millions of dollars of personal wealth being expended on all of the opposition. You have state funded both sides of the case for the death row inmate. And
one of the things that there's two sort of cases that kind of convince me on the pragmatic case. One is the so-called 20th hijacker from the 9/11 attacks.
Sure.
And one is the Colorado shooter from the Batman thing, from the
Aurora.
Yeah. So in both cases, they were ultimately sentenced to life. And in both cases, they've kind of been forgotten. No one remembers them, but they're both in jail forever with no hope of relief. There's no further appeals. It's kind of done and ended. And to me, that kind of feels more satisfactory. It just feels like, maybe that's better, because is it really great for the victims in a death penalty case, if it's 20 years, which it might very well be, to wonder if tomorrow's really going to happen? Or is it better for just to be like, throw the key away and call it a day? Because that's where you kind of are.
It's tough. So. And my mom was on a death row case down in Houston, and that guy is out. They convicted him to die, and he's out. And he definitely did it. I mean, there's no question. And he did it intentionally. He was horrifying, but they later determined that he was not fit to stand trial, which is weird, because the way they did it was to use his poetry to suggest that because he was writing poetry, Islamic metaphorical poetry, that he was not fit to stand trial. And it's like, wait, he's using complex metaphor. He's doing this.
The idea of poetry and incompetence doesn't really work together.
Right. This is a Hispanic guy who is trying to get from Houston to Mexico so that he could fly to Iran to join Iran-Contra. This is early 80s, to join the Islamic Revolution of Iran, and his brothers over there in Allah. And so he went to a McDonald's, and he put the McDonald's that he used to work at, he put his manager down on his knees and executed him in front of people on camera. And then he robbed the place. So in Texas, that's capital murder. That carries a death sentence. Well, then he was about to be executed, but he got stabbed in prison. And you can't execute an unhealthy person. That would just be silly.
That's true. That's true. My personal favorite example of that is how they have defibrillators on the way from the cell to the execution chamber, just in case.
Yeah.
I've seen the pictures of it. I've seen them.
Right.
It's like, wow.
And it's like, so this guy, he gets stabbed, so they have to get him back to healthy. And during the point where, after he would have been executed, but between him getting stabbed and getting healthy, a lawyer was able to make a successful appeal to the incompetence of the defendant. And not only did he get his death sentence removed, he's literally out. He's out of prison.
That's pretty weird.
And it's like, what the hell is this? Like, this guy put a man on his knees, had him put his hands to his head, and then he shot him in the back of the head in clear, cold blood. And the only reason the cops caught him were because his brother turned him in, because his brother was also an asshole. But yeah, it's amazing. But that cost the state infinite amounts of money, and a life sentence. That guy would probably not be out today under the same sort of thing. But it was
well, as long as we're talking about death related cases, can we move on to George Floyd Chauvin for a while?
We can. Let me read a couple. Read a couple chats, and that I'm behind on, and then let's do that. Socialism is for Fig says, Nick and Uncivil, it is time for more drinking and less talking. Otherwise, we go on a like protest. You already are. You guys are at less than 500 likes. What the shit is this? It says, I want to see drunk lawyers write me out. Oh, and Uncivil might be a commie. Not sure, though. My radar is not working at the moment. Bad Dragonite says, almost all pop songs consist of the same 4 notes and usually a lot of the same progressions. Also sort of related. What's your take on sampling audio to make new songs, both small samples and mashups? There's
no simple answer to that.
There isn't in the current law, but I think in principle, I get to this weird place where I see music as, probably because of recording industry money in general, but music gets like a lot of protection in a weird way that doesn't seem to be afforded to the average person as far as fair use goes. Like, because let's say we talked about that guitar riff earlier. And there was a joke about Dre sampling stuff because he used to sample a lot of music. So let's say someone samples that guitar riff from some iconic 80s rock song, but then turns it into a rap song or uses it in a rap song. It's like, yeah, they sampled the riff, but there is no way on earth that sampling of that riff, which might be, 5 bars of music, has any impact on the market value of that other song. It doesn't have any impact on, it's not like anybody's confusing these two songs or thinking anything. Like, I think that fair use in music has gotten a little bit shitty. And I think it's largely due to an undue amount of money influencing it. What do you think on that?
Well, what I think is, I'm going to kill you. That boy needs therapy. Play the kazoo. Let's have a tune on the count of 3. That boy needs therapy. Lie on the couch. He's crazy in the coconut. All these things.
Fuck are you talking about?
It could be many things.
I hate everything you just said. And the worst part is I don't know why. John Stern says, you try to talk to Louis Rossmann. He has recently set up initiatives pushing for the right to repair and overcoming the hurdles set up by most tech manufacturers. You did talk to him. You had him on the show, right?
Oh, yes, I did. It was a decent conversation. Didn't really build my channels, I hope, but it was a good conversation.
Yeah, I want to talk to him too at some point, but I will ask him. See, this is the problem. You didn't ask him the important question. Balls or no balls? You didn't ask him.
I did not ask him that question because no.
That's the worst part. It's like, if I ever get Louis Rossmann on the show, someone's going to be like, hey, Louis or Louis? Is it Louis? I say Louis, but which one is it? Do you know?
Louis.
Oh, it's Louis.
That's why I called him. That's why I call him.
So someone will be like, hey, Louis, on your fuda, do you like big, giant, hairy balls? Or are you some of those weird bear shaft cucks? Like, that'll be the super chat. And he'll be like, what? And then I'll be sitting there explaining futanari to Louis Rossmann. Sorry, it's Louis, not Louis. I'm sorry. I know too many Louis. That's not my fault. Hey, I saw what you just chatted, by the way. You think I'm not monitoring the chat? You son of a bitch. You're sitting there. I still don't know. What are you what were you talking about?
That boy needs therapy.
I get that the boy needs therapy, but I don't know what that's
on the couch. You're crazy in the coconut.
I hate you. I'm not Googling this. I'm intentionally not Googling this. Look at you sipping wine. Kiwi Goes Live says, what about Death by Snoo Snoo with Tess Holiday? How about that for a punishment?
He was white as a sheet and had false teeth, man.
We were talking about medieval tortures, and I'm talking about a giantly obese woman smothering someone to death with their vagina. And you're like, he was white as a sheet. He wouldn't be white as a sheet. He'd be red from trying to breathe. And then eventually blue.
And then white.
Wait, that's a little... Why are you assuming his race?
I don't know.
What if he was Asian and died by Tess Holiday lady parts?
I don't know. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna visit you in person, and we can discuss balls versus no balls all night long.
You're gonna come visit me in person?
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome, by the way.
I know you said that before, and I'm happy to visit you. I will. I'll
That's
come
going to
visit
be
you in May.
in
I'll come
May.
visit you next month. Yeah, I'll come visit you next month. We'll do a stream from your house in person. It'll be great.
One stream. We got to do more than one.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's like a monumental occasion. Kurt at the Rackets compound.
Be good.
We'll cook a bunch of steaks. We'll sit in the hot tub. It'll be great.
Yeah. Hot tub, I'm in.
Yeah, I just got one.
Oh, that's great. What we need is a couple bottles of some white, maybe some Sancerre or maybe a little Ungi Blanc or Sauvignon Blanc could be great.
Maybe I should pick you up from
maybe a cigar. We can have a little bit Macanudo.
Yeah,
you like Macanudo cigar?
We can do cigars. What I probably need to do is I probably need to pick you up from the airport so we can stop by a liquor store with a proper wine selection.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you come out to this little podunk town, which is hours away from the Twin Cities, and you try and buy like a good wine, I mean, we're buying barefoot wine or whatever out here, which is
that's not ideal.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to drinking wine from a box, but on special occasions, we need to get some real non-nitrate wine because nitrate wine gives me headaches.
Yes.
So, yeah, that'll be fun, man. You should definitely do that. So,
no, I definitely will for sure. I think we'll put it on the calendar for May, and we'll do it. It'll be great.
I like it. So yeah, that'll be perfect. Okay, so do you have anything else to say about Death by Snoo Snoo with Tess Holiday as a medieval torture?
I don't know where we were. I was trying to get to Floyd eventually, but no, I have nothing to say about that.
Okay, sounds good. That's where we are. Let's talk. Oh wait, shit. 2 more. These are less Death by Snoo Snoo and more like real stuff. Joseph Kerwin says, I heard a law professor distributed a test that contained an obfuscated bad word, N********* in one of the questions. The students were horrified by this travesty and the university fired the professor. Can you imagine?
Yes.
I know that's the worst part, right? Is that you can't imagine. You can imagine it. That makes me so sad. Dogsplain says, since you skipped my pre-show $20, what? Where was it? Was it on Streamlabs, Dogsplain, or was it on YouTube? Tag me in the damn YouTube comments because everybody is putting super chats are getting moved all over the place and I'm getting pissed about it. Since you skipped my pre-show $20, hard R ginger passes for everyone. Also, on the topic of child sex predators, how about that former Cream City Foundation CEO? That's the judge, man. Did you see that judge in Wisconsin he was a family court judge and he got hit for child porn charges? Did you see that?
There's shit like that. Yes, I've seen that one, and not the first time.
I can't verify this yet, but I'm going to say it, even risking, all of the defamation that the pedo judge probably won't bring against me. But allegedly, that judge's husband was in some of the pictures. Some of the pictures might have been of their child, their adopted children, is alleged. That's what someone said. So I don't know if that's true. Let me here we go. Here's the last one. I see these two now. Jeremy Chandler says, could it not be argued that the federal government, by enforcing Section 230 the way they are, is infringing on the free speech rights of the people according to the 14th Amendment?
No.
I agree. However, what do you think of Thomas's suggestion that, and this I had not thought of. I had not thought of this, and this is why Thomas is a Supreme Court justice and I'm not, right? Besides a whole litany of other reasons, but this one in particular. He said, in that case, no one sued Twitter. But, and I'm summarizing here, Trump asked Twitter to do an act that Trump could not legally do.
Mm-hmm.
So Trump, as a government official, is not able to censor the speech of journalists. Mm-hmm. However, he asked a private actor to do something that which the government could not do.
Uh-huh.
And at that point, is Twitter, at least for the purposes of that blocking action, are they a quasi-government actor?
I'd say yes, for the same reason the police will be. If the police can't do something, but they hire a private individual, same analysis.
Yeah. And I think that's amazing. And but so my personal opinion is that actually Section 230 protections has chilled including Twitter in that type of lawsuits. Would you agree with that?
Well, it's it's preventing them from being sued, so that's for sure.
Right, but
yes.
Thomas is suggesting that they could be sued as a quasi-state actor for doing
the extent that they were doing Trump's bidding. Yes.
Well, would you agree that creating a block functionality and allowing the government, because this is where I came to yesterday. In theory, Twitter they've created the block functionality. And so clicking on the button, but clicking on a button is just clicking on a button, right? Like you understand computer programming. Like that is a call function, and then something has to be willfully created as a response to that button. So in theory, for a government account, Twitter could say the block button doesn't actually function in the way that it would function for any other account. There's nothing preventing them from saying no to the block function once you click it, right?
They could discriminate. Yes.
Yeah. So therefore, based on that, Twitter is calling, or Trump is calling on Twitter to perform an action that would be suppression of speech if he were a government agent, and Twitter is acquiescing willfully by the code that they've provided, because there is a viable alternative, even though it might be cumbersome. It does exist. It wouldn't be that cumbersome, really.
Well, I think it has to be right, because let's just make it simple. The police cannot search something. They hire a private investigator who conducts the search. It's a violation for the same reason. They're a governmental actor. They've been hired. It's that simple. The function existing or not is not the question. It's who's doing it. If the government is asking, the government is the origin. Twitter's the agent. It's agency law. It's simple, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It makes sense to me. Breck sent a message in the chat. He says, so pulling a trigger is not my fault. The gun maker should be sued. There's a distinct difference here. The gun maker cannot prevent you from pulling the trigger based on who the target is. There's a lot of things that the gun maker could do. Like they could do fingerprint ID or whatever. They could do biometric usage of the gun. They could have biometric locks. That's different. In this question, Trump is aiming to block someone as a government official. His ability to block people could implicate the First Amendment. That was clearly laid out by the appellate courts. And so and interestingly, Thomas didn't criticize their analysis of the fact that this could be a thing. He just criticized their, and he didn't even criticize them. He said they were basically confused and misled by the idea that this seems like a government controlled space, but in actuality, it's a Twitter controlled space. And so if you think of it this way, Remington can't stop you from pulling a trigger, or more appropriately, when you pull the trigger, Remington cannot stop a bullet from firing. However, when you press the block button, Twitter has all of the ability in the world to prevent that block from occurring. Like there is nothing on earth that says when you click that block button, it's not in your terms of service. It's not anywhere. There's no contractual obligation for Twitter to honor that block. If Twitter wanted some weirdo like Maggie Astor from the New York Times or whatever to be able to see every tweet that you made, Twitter can easily put in one line of code that exempts her from the block button. And it would be nothing. It would be literally effortless for them. So
I don't think this is on Twitter, because again, the functionality of it is distinct from who's using it, because tools exist for anybody, and who uses it matters.
Right.
And if it's the government doing it, it's on the government, not Twitter.
Well, but Thomas basically suggested that since Twitter could terminate an account in its entirety, that it wasn't a government controlled space. And so since Twitter has the ultimate end control, it's not a government controlled space. It's a private controlled space. However,
I don't think that quite works. Maybe I disagree with Thomas. I disagree with him. Maybe
that's okay. I think he's got a good point there. And what I found interesting is his analogy that that Trump is asking Twitter to do something that would be illegal for him to do, but it's legal for Twitter to do. And therefore Twitter could be, I mean, this has to be sussed out in court. Obviously we have to get a factual analysis and a determination and look at the code. But I think when you look at it from a very basic perspective, Twitter can determine accounts to be official government accounts. In fact, they do. They have a verification process that they go through this, and they could easily apply a flag to those accounts that says, no, you can't block someone. You can't do it.
I don't think it should be on Twitter. I think it should be on the government.
Thomas disagrees with that analysis.
Well, fair enough. Maybe I disagree with him.
Now, what about what about the idea that Twitter's a common carrier then?
Well, that's different. I think that's a fair analysis. The idea they're a common carrier, I think that's right. That might be statutory.
What I like about Thomas's concurring opinion in this is that what he did was he laid out a blueprint. He's like, here are different ways that you attack this problem, since none of you are doing it right. That was what I got. I felt like he was the old man. Like, he's the law professor who's been he's been hiding the ball. He's like, would you just find the fucking ball, please, so we can all move on with this? And no one's finding the ball. And so finally he's like, here's where the ball might be. Here's like 5 different neighbors' yards you can go look in. Go find the damn ball. That's how I took Thomas's opinion.
No, I like that. It's exposing the issue.
Yeah.
And that's great. It's asking, apologize, it's stating what the question is. And that's important.
Right.
What is the question?
And for those of you who don't know, when you go to law school, I don't know. My con law professor was like this. Maybe yours was different. My con law professor did this. We would spend the entire first part of every lecture and every case analysis. He would say, what is the question in this case? Yes. And we would have to accurately state the question. And if your question was too broad, he would say, no, that question is too broad. Look to what the court is talking about. So does Korematsu say that you can jail people based on their ethnicity? No. Does Korematsu say, can you jail people of Japanese descent after Pearl Harbor during a time of war, specifically World War II, where we're at war with the Japanese based on their Japanese origins? Yes, the president has the power. That's what Korematsu says. Korematsu does not say you can put in internment camps anybody of any ethnic descent based on their ethnic descent. And there's a real temptation to read Korematsu that way, because that's the worst way to read it. But in reality, you have a whole bunch of facts leading up to the Japanese attacked us during Pearl Harbor. There's credible information that we had Japanese spies operating, and those were Japanese American citizens. And then we have this idea that they want to limit the internment to specifically Japanese Americans. They didn't expand it to Italian or German Americans who were opposed to us at the time that Korematsu or the Korematsu executive order was implemented. Though they did different race-based, or I should say national origin-based measures at that time. And they didn't do it to other Asians. They didn't do it to Koreans, Chinese, Indians, if that existed, all of that stuff. It was a very specific question. Same thing with Truman trying to take over the steel mills, and I think effectively doing the steel mills Can a president during a time of war nationalize steel mills? That's a different question than can a president nationalize steel mills through executive order? So nailing down the question is really, really important.
Very important.
It may be the most important thing.
Yes.
When you're doing analysis of opinions, it's the most important thing, because everything outside of that question is dicta. Kiwi Goes Live says, guys, the world needs you two to collab on a Legal Eagle style parody. Please do this for the Kipper. How much soul do you even have left to do a Legal Eagle style parody? Would you do a Legal Eagle parody?
For you, of course I would.
What would that even look like?
I don't know.
Would we have to get green screens and like fake law books in the background?
I do have green screens. I can help you out. It's fine.
Hello, Legal Eagles. How's it going? It's time to think like a lawyer. We're going to look now at NYPD Blue. Could you imagine?
I'm not sure I really want to do that, but okay.
Could you imagine debasing yourself to we're going to watch Law and Order Special Victims Unit episode 9.
For you. I'll do it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. Joshua Sanabria says, with a big chat, thank you, Joshua, says, Byron Scherf was serving life in prison in Washington. He killed corrections officer Jamie Bendel in the prison chapel and was sentenced to death. The sentence was overturned as a result of a state Supreme Court ruling deeming the death penalty racist. Where's the justice here? So he's serving life in prison already. Then he kills a CO. Then they say, okay, you kill a CO. You're already on prison for life. Maybe you need to be offed. Maybe we need to purge you from the society, the prison society. And then they say, sorry, executions are racist. What do you think? Is that just? Is that correct? What do we do with that?
I don't know.
Is there some circumstance where the death penalty is right? Because you said you're leaning towards opposing death penalty, which me too.
From what point of view? That's the question.
Yeah.
Because I think from a strictly moral perspective, we can go wider than I'm suggesting. If we're talking about strict moral issues, we can go wider. But the pragmatic issues, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay, so here's as a basic question, do you think the state has the legitimate authority to end the life of a civilian through the legal process?
That suggests moral, and yes.
Okay. So we agree there that the state has the authority to do it.
Yes.
But you disagree with the moral question of the state is not good at determining who should die. And you say more of the pragmatic. You say it costs too much to determine who should die. We should just put them in prison for life. It's
not quite that the state can't determine it. It's just in the total balance of the effort to determine it, because it's an issue of cost benefit. So we look at death penalty to its next closest alternative of life imprisonment, compare it, and to my mind, what we're exerting is not worth it. So that makes sense. It doesn't work it. Yeah. Yep.
Do you think child abuse should be, since we're going to go with the premise of no death penalty for the sake of this question. Do you think child abuse should be accelerated up to life in prison?
Inherently?
I don't know. Take it however you want.
I'd say no. I'd say no, because
child sexual abuse. Sorry, child sexual abuse. When we get to questions of penetrative rape.
I'm not sure I agree with life, but substantial.
Because right now I'm not sure it is substantial. Okay.
That may be true.
Here we go. Here we're getting into the spicy questions now. I can feel the liquor right in both of us.
I mean, come on. I'm a half I'm halfway through the liquor. I'm almost done with my wine bottle. I'm pretty drunk. Let's go.
That's good. Okay. Is there an
Yes.
inherent gender bias in describing rape as penetrative? Because females, I mean, are capable of penetrative sexual assault, right? But it requires a further implement generally, or digital assault, which is different, right? Like male genitalia assault is penetrative, but female genitalia assault is not.
I say yes then.
Okay. So what we should do is, and I think this is an inherent difference in how I'm going to go to the teacher question, right? Like male teacher, sex with 14-year-old student, male goes to prison for like 20 years. Female teacher, sex with 14-year-old male student, probably gets house arrest. I think that's a disparity. I think that's disparate treatment and disparate outcomes.
I agree.
And I think that's bullshit. Do you think that's bullshit?
I agree. Yes, absolutely.
How many teachers would you need, one hand or two hand, to count the amount of teachers you would have had sex with in high school?
Oh, I'm not sure I need any for me personally.
Really? You didn't have any hot teachers?
Yeah. Not that I can remember. No.
I'd like three, but one would have been because I don't like her. That's the trick.
Now this is totally inappropriate.
Yes, now we're at the good stuff.
I can remember one from elementary school.
Wait a minute. Were you attracted to her?
Retrospect.
Were you attracted to her in elementary school, or were you attracted to her thinking back on elementary school?
It could be either thing.
Wait, so you're, as an elementary student, you're like, yeah, I would totally bone this chick. Like that's what you're thinking as like a 7-year-old or whatever, up to 11-year-old.
Absolutely not.
I'm trying to figure out, like, if Kurt is thinking of this as he's 11, or is he's like 15 and remembers his teacher when he was 11.
I would say, as I'm remembering now, she's attractive.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. As I remember them now, I had just a couple attractive teachers. Not very many. And there was one who, there was a peer pressure attractiveness to her, but as I think of her now, I'm like, her ass was way too big. She was what I would consider husky now, but all the guys were like, oh, she's so hot. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think she was. I think there was something. I think she was just a bitch, and I think that made her hotter to guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Okay. Let's get to Chauvin and Floyd. Now that we're talking about hot for teacher. What do you want to talk about with Chauvin and Floyd? Let me preface the conversation this way. I have not been watching all of the witness questioning, but what I have watched, I will say that Chauvin's attorney is really fucking good on cross.
They're both good.
I haven't watched a lot of the prosecutor stuff because I'm not getting a lot of clips sent to my news feed because YouTube is racist. It's not my fault, but and I haven't had time to watch it. But his Chauvin's attorney on cross is fucking really good. But what have you seen?
No, they're both doing a very solid job laying out their case. They're both solid at their game, very professional, thorough, a little bit exacting at times, but they're great.
I heard the prosecution got kind of tangled up today, but I don't know about that. Did you watch today's stuff?
I did in parts, but I couldn't comment about specifically the issue.
Yeah. Guys, okay. Someone says, this is racism happening in the chat. Someone says, you think anything over 90 pounds is fat. Yes, I'm a fattest. I have said this over and over, especially when it comes to women. However, the teacher in question was easily over 150 pounds. Easily. She was not thin. And she was not tall. It's not like she's 5'10" and 150 pounds. Okay. Look, I understand proportions and I understand like the weight of bone and lean muscle mass. This was not like a giant tall woman who was also who would be thin at her height. This is a woman who was treated as thin even though she was not. She was treated as hot. And I literally think it was because she was a bitch. A delightful bitch. I loved her. She was great. Very, very, very good teacher as well. I think she's one of my favorite teachers. However, a lot of guys swooned over her and they just shouldn't have. But
yeah.
Okay, so what do you think here? We had some testimony from the police chief that says that he was forced to acknowledge the possibility the knee was not on the neck of Floyd. So can you talk about that from your opinions on that?
Well, the issue is the exact placement of the knee and whether it was really being placed respected to the trachea, because the guidelines said you couldn't put pressure on the trachea, and whether or not it was excessive of that. And there's conflicting guidance. Also, I'd like to point out for the record that I recognize I'm pretty drunk at this point because I'm drinking way more than my friend here who isn't keeping up with me. He's a pansy. So, try harder.
This is the magic of TV. I am. How many shots have you taken?
Look, all right. First of all, I'm halfway through this liquor bottle. All right, halfway through this liquor bottle. And if we talk about this wine bottle, I've got about maybe a quarter left of this wine bottle. So you can't keep up with my bullshit. Let's go.
Listen, you
want me to drink straight out of this? You got this?
Yeah, hit it. Now, you have to understand, I am a consummate professional.
I thought we were drinking shot for shot. Are we not drinking shot for shot? Let's go, bullshit.
How many shots do I need to keep up with? You're drinking wine. Wine doesn't even count. That's not even real. I mean, wine is real. Don't get me wrong. Wine is real.
All right. We're not doing this. Okay. So this is bourbon. This is bourbon. Let's do this shit. You want to do this?
Tell me how many shots I need to catch up to you. Are you too drunk to open it with your hands? What kind of degenerate are you? Oh, no. Stop it. Why would you do that? How much does that bottle of bourbon cost?
Wow, that's a lot.
How much was that bottle of bourbon?
I'm halfway through. I'll show you.
What was the price? What was the price on the bottle of bourbon?
It's not that expensive. No, it's not that expensive. This is tell
your autofocus to get fucked. Okay, pecan brown sugar bourbon. That's 35% alcohol. That's not even real bourbon.
Count. You want me to do some one-on-one shit? We can go down.
Nope. I don't want you to kill yourself. I like you.
I got to bring the bottle one-on-one if you want to go down.
I need you to live to May. Whatever it takes for you to live to May. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. This, my friend, is a $300 bottle of rye whiskey.
Okay.
I am going to drink from the bottle like a degenerate because you did.
Okay.
But the question I have for you is how many shots do I need to keep up with you?
Well, this bottle was unopened when I started. Unopened. It's halfway through. So what do you think?
Look, I am a consummate professional.
It was unopened when we started.
My job is to make people think I'm drinking more than I am.
No, it wasn't. Your job today was to do a whiskey competition, drink for drink. That was your job, and you're fucking failing.
But I don't know how to. I don't know how to do it because you're just like, I'm just pouring shit all over the place and slamming it down. Here's wine. I'm drinking bottles of wine.
Look, this bottle was unopened when we started. It was brand fucking new. Brand fucking new. Where are we in this bottle? Look at this shit. We're halfway through on this bottle.
Let me do something here.
And this bottle of wine was brand new where we started. How much wine is left in this bottle? Let's talk some shit.
I'm going to do this. This bottle, which I started with, was 60% alcohol.
Okay, well, whoop-de fucking do for you.
35%, which means fucking 1.8 shots.
Look,
of
again,
yours is one of mine.
If you want me to chug some 101,
I don't want you to chug some 101. I value your life. This is 40.
Let's go down.
This is 46. Okay, so I had
Nick is a pansy. Nick can't keep his liquor.
I had one shot of this. I haven't even started, you motherfucker. I'm about to kick. I have one shot of this. I had 2 shots of this. I've had 2 shots of this, which is 46% as well.
2 shots? 2 shots of 46?
Look, really? I'm at 5 shots at least. I don't even know if I took a 6th one.
Oh,
and this one is almost 60
shots.
Here we go. That's horrifying. Why would I do that? Oh, God, that's good fucking rye whiskey. Just a minute.
Watch me shake. Watch me na-na. Watch me finish this bottle of wine.
That's wine. What is that? What is that? 9% ABV on that?
I'm sorry. Does that please you?
What's God damn it. I'm gonna get charged with a crime if you die. You realize that. They're gonna be like, we understand you goaded him. I'm like, no, I tried to stop him. Let it be known.
He goaded me. I had no free will. It's his fault.
You goddamn.
I only want to please you. I'm so desperate to please you.
This is admissible as a dying utterance.
Please love me, Daddy.
You just overcame the hearsay exception as a dying utterance. God damn it. I hate you. Why would you do this? Somebody call 411 and find out Kurt's information. What would happen if somebody called 411? Do you remember 411? The doxing,
I do.
The doxing mechanic for normies?
Yes.
Be like, hi, I need to know what Kurt's phone number is. And they're like, what Kurt, please? And you're like, in Austin.
555-1212.
They're like, in Austin, there are 7,653 Kurts. And like, Uncivil Law, that one, whatever that one is.
Okay, this bottle of wine's empty, so that's it, and it's fine.
That's
we're talking about the Floyd trial, the Chauvin trial at some point.
We are. Hold on. Socialism is for Figs says, I am a retired Marine. No joke, and this is not you. Socialism is for Figs, who I like very much. I read that as I am a retarded Marine, but it's not your fault. It's literally Spectre's fault. Because I was going to tell my kids that if the zombie apocalypse comes and they're chased by a zombie Marine, if they throw a box of Crayola out, the Marine won't eat their brains. They'll stop for that's how they get away. He says, what the hell is this? He's muted and disappeared. I think he's going to go. I think Kurt just went to go buy a coffin and then die in it. This doesn't count. If you vomit, you can drink more. God damn it. Why was he drinking from the bottles of everything? It's like, look, here's the wine. Here's the bourbon. No, Kurt, no, I don't want you to die. What are you doing? Poop Snatch says drink his vomit. His vomit is 80% ABV. No, don't do that. Look. By the way, L's in chat if Nick lost this competition. If Recato Law lost the drinking competition, L's in chat all day. By the way, if you post an L in chat and you don't click like, you're a fucking heathen. How dare you? How dare you? Whoa! What is this? What is this? This is communism. I can't believe it. I'm not drinking again until you guys get to 1,000 likes. I'm on boycotting you harder than I boycott Coke, which I don't boycott at all. Are you alive, man?
Yes.
What happened to your video feed?
I had to use the restroom, so I paused it.
Did you have to use the restroom or did you have to vomit into the restroom?
I declined to comment. I have a brand new bottle of 101.
What are you doing? Jesus Christ, no.
Look. Let's make this plain. We agreed to 1-for-1 drinking competition. This is 101 unopened bottle. I'm ready to go. I will not lose this competition. What do you want to do? Let's go.
Look, I cannot be responsible for you dying on a. Where's your camera? Where's your camera? You got to turn the camera back on. I have to know that you're alive and not just. Look, I don't know if you're a Google programmed AI that stole the fucking code from.
It's fine. I'll get there eventually. It's fine. No, it's fine. I'll get there eventually.
You realize that if you literally die, I win by default, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
how. You see me now
works.
or not? Do I have to fix this
no,
out?
I've got you. I can see you.
Fantastic, great. No, okay. I don't know.
Christ.
I've got a brand new bottle of 101, brand new bottle of Wild Turkey, 101. I've got half a bottle of this shit. I've finished my wine bottle. Let's go. What do you want to do? What's next?
I think
we're talking about Floyd, and we're talking about we're talking about felony murder, talking about third-degree murder. I can do some legal analysis.
No, I'm reading this super chat. You went and vomited in the middle of my super chat.
No, I didn't. I declined to confirm that.
You're gonna plead the fifth.
Yes, just like one of the witnesses in this case, one of the people who was in the car with Floyd at the time, he declared a fifth. So why not me?
Do you think
that's some legal analysis for you? How do you like that bullshit?
You think that hurt the prosecution's case? I don't think it did.
Not really. Not particularly.
I don't know what that dumbass's testimony would have done anyway.
Yeah, I don't really see what it would have done.
The news made a big deal out of it because the news is fucking stupid.
They're fucking stupid.
They're like, oh, this Floyd's friend, a key witness for the prosecution. I'm like, motherfuckers.
Should we open this? Let's open this.
Please don't die on me. You said you were coming to my house in May. If you die in April, you can't come to my house in May. This is ASMR whiskey opening. Here we go. Okay, someone's saying Nick drink. Okay, here we go. By the way, every time I take a sip of this, it's $40. God, it's fucking good rye whiskey. I have a second bottle of this, by the way. When you come up, we're opening it.
I can go deeper.
Just so you know, this is the last batch of rye whiskey that Kentucky Owl is ever doing. Mm-hmm. And I have in my possession. Look at this. Look at this.
That looks nice. That looks nice. It looks very nice.
A completely brand new super chat funded bottle. And that
looks solid.
I will open this.
Do you like the rye stuff? Do you like the rye?
Some, when it's good. Trust me. Trust me. This rye whiskey, you can't say the rye stuff. This rye whiskey is something you will never taste anywhere else. Fair enough. Here's the worst news on the fucking planet. I mean this. This is the last batch of rye whiskey that Kentucky Owl is ever doing, according to them.
Why?
I don't know. It's the best goddamn rye whiskey I've ever drank.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I will save this bottle when you come to my... It
looks very nice from the labeling.
When you come to my house in May, we will open this bottle, you and me. And as a one-up, and I mean this, no matter the implications, I will take you to every liquor store in town, and you can pick literally any bottle of whiskey that any of them have, no matter the price. I will buy it and we will drink it. So you,
okay.
and I will take you to the most expensive liquor store, whatever it is. You can pick any whiskey on the shelf. I don't care if it's a Macallan 40 or whatever it is. I will buy any whiskey they have in town and we will drink it.
I appreciate that.
And we will talk about it to the chat. This is a business expense. It's the only whiskey I will probably claim on my taxes. Okay. Jason Smoot says, throw in some Cecil and you've got a pretty good stream. Oh shit, I never finished Socialism is for Figs chat. And then we're going to get back to Chauvin Floyd. He says, I was RD by a female lieutenant. What does RD mean? She threatened male soldiers of lower rank with dishonorable discharge because her father was a general. I am scarred from this because she was not pretty at all. Sorry for sharing. Oh, do you mean you were raped? Does socialism, you don't have to send a super chat. Tag me. Does RD mean raped? Did a female lieutenant take advantage of you? An ugly one? Look, I have a thing. I don't know about you. If I'm going to get raped and the chick is hot, I don't care that much. Look, unless she's pegging me, then I don't want to do that. But there was a story about a guy who robbed this is in Russia. He tried to rob a karate studio or whatever, or a hair salon. And the chick was a black belt in karate, and she tied him up and she fed him Viagra and raped the shit out of him for like 3 days. But she was also hot. So I was like, okay, that's not that bad. Maybe that's the guy perspective. I don't know about you. Tipster's in the chat. Hey, what's up, Tipster? How you doing, buddy? Nick about to get pegged, lol. Literally never. Tipster, if I get pegged, you will only know because you'll find me swinging from a fucking gallows. Socialism is for Fig says, yes, he was raped. Oh my God. What do you think about that? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Tipster, by the way, we got to do a show together. I've known you forever. You've known me forever. We've never done a show together. We got to do a show. Tipster, you and me, hit me up because I'm going to forget tonight because of Kurt. It's not my fault. It's Kurt's fault. He's the sinner heathen here. Hit me up. Let's do a show together. You and me. My channel or yours. I don't care. Let's do it. I think it'll be a fucking fun show. Okay. Next. Jason Smoot says, get Cecil in this stream. Cecil's here in the chat. I don't know about that. He says, drink a fifth, then plead it. And Jason Smoot says, send Cecil the link. My streaming setup is not actually good for multiple guests. It's not at all. One guest. I should adopt the StreamYard approach. Do you do StreamYard for guests? Kurt, are you with me?
Sometimes.
Do I have to defibrillate your brain?
Yes, a little bit.
The problem I have with StreamYard,
I may be a little drunk, a little bit, a little bit.
The problem
I can still legal analysis over you. I can beat you.
Wait,
a legal analysis.
Wait a minute. When you're this drunk, is it analysis or anal ISIS?
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. That's not an answer.
I can kick your ass.
Yeah. How much jujitsu have you done, bro?
As a matter of fact, a little bit. I did Krav Maga for a year and with Jiu-Jitsu for a year. So yeah.
God damn it. I love the internet so much because of stuff like this. Okay. Look. Against my better. Why would you do this? No. Don't you dare. You measure your pores, my friend. This is not Biore. You better fucking measure your pores and you better drink appropriately.
No, it's not. It's challenging you to drinking competition.
You're winning.
I'm going to be drunk if I'm beating you.
You are winning in one sense. Tomorrow you
in every sense. In the sense that's relevant to our competition.
Look, I can see the future, and tomorrow I think you may change your mind on who won this competition.
Maybe. Maybe. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk Floyd and Chauvin.
Okay.
Let's talk Floyd and Chauvin.
Yes.
This is drinking seppuku as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. You have to bear with me because I'm a little slow.
No, you're fine. Everything is okay right now.
Doubtful.
Okay.
Look, now, I can analyze how drunk I am, and this is not cogent.
You can't even pronounce the syllables you're saying.
That's my point. I win this battle.
You win.
You said I was fine. I said I wasn't fine. I win.
Look, I've never once suggested that you have lost this competition. I'm just saying tomorrow.
Just saying, I'm more self-aware than you. Let's go.
You're not more self-aware than me. You're far less self-aware, I think. I'm just saying tomorrow you may regret and change your mind. That's all. Whereas
bullshit. I can still beat your ass. Let's go. Look,
I have a show at 11 a.m. tomorrow, and I'm going to wake up and live through
it. Oh, you have a show at 11 a.m.? Oh, my God. What can we do? Oh, my God. Let's go. Oh, my Jesus, Lord.
Okay. Now that you're honest, you're fully honest, is Chauvin guilty of killing George Floyd?
On balance?
Not a legal analysis.
Yes.
Not a legal analysis, a personal opinion analysis. Here's what I say. Look, I'm not going to challenge you to do this without putting my dick on the table. Yes, Chauvin killed George Floyd, period.
I say yes.
He did kill him. I don't care if his knee was on his neck. I don't care if he asphyxiated him, whatever. He killed him. Now, different question. Is Chauvin legally culpable for the death of George Floyd?
Manslaughter, yes.
I think manslaughter is the best charge here.
Yeah, second-degree murder. It's close, but I say yes.
I don't think it's close on second degree.
I know you don't. I've noticed that before.
All right, so fucking fight me on second degree. And I have had less to drink than you, so I'll have the advantage.
Yes, you will. I still win.
Okay, do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so second degree murder. So we have to look for because it's based on the underlying felony.
Uh-huh. By the way, Nate pulled
third degree assault.
Nate pulled a fast one on Barnes. That was good stuff, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. Barnes is a hack.
No, Barnes is not a hack. Barnes is not a hack. Barnes is a very good lawyer who projected his opinions on other state law onto this case.
Look, I respect you. You. If you disagree with me, I understand. Barnes, not so much. I think he's a hack. I respect Nate if he disagrees with me, but I think Barnes is so in bounds on all issues. Not on this issue, all issues. He's a hack. What do you want from me?
I don't know. I get hesitant to call attorneys hacks. I really do, because look, Barnes, to his credit and to his risk, which I also count as credit, because look, I'm a risky motherfucker. Barnes comments on multi-jurisdictional issues, which any practicing lawyer knows. Ooh, that was a good burp. Any practicing lawyer knows, like, commenting on multi-jurisdictional, multi-practice area issues is really, really hard and really, really risky.
Yeah.
And I think Barnes is right a whole shitload more than the average would suggest. So while Barnes, I think Nate got him on this issue for sure. At the same time, I think Barnes is a good-natured dude who has who comments on a lot of areas of law, and the way he speaks is one of confidence, and that goes a long way.
Too much.
Is it too much though?
Yes, it is.
We're not in law school though.
Yes, we're not.
I think that's the deal. I think there's Barnes is a public commentator and a public person, like probably more than any of us, which is weird because like you, me, Viva, like I think we've all got a bigger channel YouTube wise than Barnes. He may have more Twitter followers than us. I haven't checked his Twitter account. It's probably embarrasses mine or whatever. But you know, he's on Viva's show, so he gets some combination there. But like, I don't think that the Barnes YouTube channel is super big or whatever, and that's fine. But
I agree.
But and that's not a criticism in any way. But Barnes is out there, and I think his personal bravado and his personal style is conducive very well to this sort of medium, and I don't think it's inappropriate, because no one is paying for a legal education here. They're looking for takes, they're looking for opinions, and they're looking for sort of ideas about how this is going. And I think this is the failing I think that law Twitter exhibits, is they want something you mentioned earlier. They want that academic purity applied to YouTube. And I don't think that it's the appropriate place, because I think YouTube has a significant mix of academics and also opinion that makes it not, because if we were all academics on YouTube, we would all have 8 followers, right? Mm-hmm. Like, because Jesus Christ, no one actually wants to go to law school. Like, the only benefit of law school is that you get to be a lawyer at the end of the fucking day. But if you were going to spend like 90 hours going to law school on YouTube, when I say 90 hours, I mean 90 semester hours. So I mean actually like 900 hours or whatever it is. If you were to actually spend that, you would hate your life and you wouldn't be a lawyer at the end of the day. So I don't think we would get there. We're allowed to make mistakes. We're allowed to get something wrong, but at the same time, infuse an appropriate amount of opinion into our legal analysis. What say you?
I agree. You have to look at the factors.
What? Okay, we're the Supreme Court now. What are the YouTube factors of legal analysis? We need to lay this out. We need to put out like a 3 or 4 part test, right?
You can beat me. I'm drunk. I can't deal with it.
Okay.
I know.
This is too high level. Let's go down in the nitty gritty.
This point is, yes.
Let's go back to Chauvin. Because I feel like you're drunk prepared for Chauvin. So we've established Chauvin, I think, is responsible for the death of George Floyd personally. You think so too. Legally, I think we both fall in the same place. We're at like second-degree manslaughter.
Yes.
You think second-degree murder is a little closer question than I do, but
Yes.
I think we both think that second degree is a bridge too far for the prosecution. Is that right?
It's closer. Yes.
Your video froze. Jesus.
It's closer. It's closer.
Okay, you're back now. Your video's back now. It's closer. I don't think they can get to second degree murder.
I think you can get there. I think they can.
You think they can? Okay,
Yes.
so tell me how you think they get to an now. And
Okay.
I'm with Nate in Minnesota, and this is a cheat on my part because I was trained and taught that an underlying felony assault is felony murder in Minnesota at second degree.
Yeah.
That is not a foreign concept to me. For Barnes in other states,
It is. It's bullshit. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, Badabeer says, Nick, stay on topic for the love of God. I am on topic like Monica is on Ron's ass. Don't you even at me. I'm here. We're on topic. Okay. So I'm with the charge. Like, I get the charge. I don't have a fundamental problem with it. But you think it's a closer measure than I do.
Yes.
For me, I say Chauvin has too much reasonable doubt on the underlying felony assault. How do you get there?
Okay.
How do you bring me as a learned jury member into your Tess Holiday labia?
I respect that. Okay. First of all, I respect you. And I can't possibly argue against you because I'm so fucking drunk I can't deal with it. But I'll try. You have to deal with it.
No, it's good. This is honest Kurt in his prime. And you're sitting there like, I watch you. You're like drinking wine. You're drinking wild turkey like a fucking moron. And I'm like, in 10 minutes, this is going to be a goddamn disaster. And love it.
This was the issue, right?
Yeah.
This was the bet. Acknowledge it. This was the bet.
You won the bet. I'm conceding.
Who could outdrink who?
I have never in my life, in my entire life, you may not know this. This may have been a cheat on my part. I have never, ever claimed to outdrink a single person. I would put a 4-year-old. You haven't even finished that glass. What are you doing? No, that wasn't a challenge. God damn it. I would let a 4-year-old outdrink me in bourbon. What are you doing? It was a setup from the get-go. I am the house. I win.
No, I win.
You don't.
I win.
Have you heard the expression, I win the battle, but I lose the war?
Yes.
That's happening right now.
Pyrrhic victory.
You're winning against me, but you're losing against health and nature.
So what?
I'm aligned with them. That my ally is your BAC.
Yes. So let's go.
Please don't drive.
No.
If you do drive, don't take a field sobriety test.
Watch me shake. Watch me nada.
It's whip and nay, not shake and nana. You got not only some of it wrong, but you got every single aspect wrong. Nay, not nana. It's watch me whip, now watch me nay.
What was the bet?
You won the bet. I already conceded defeat. That doesn't mean drink more.
Yes, I still, yeah.
Look, I've lost plenty in my life. Have you seen me? I'm a I may pretend fit, right? Like I've been skinny my entire life, so it lets me pass off. I don't do any. I've never done any serious workout because I've always been skinny, which is to my detriment because it means I have no muscle mass. I'm like Vince Vaughn, right? Vince Vaughn is thin, but he's not. He has no reason to be thin. That's my entire life. So I've never had to win a competition. There's not actually liquid in there, Kurt.
A little bit.
No, there wasn't. Please, get some water. Do you have water?
A drop.
God damn it. Okay, talk to me about second-degree murder.
Okay.
Talk to me about second-degree murder.
I can't do it.
Nozaku says, Nick, just admit you lost to save him. I've done nothing but conceded defeat all day. I've been defeated harder than the French.
Let's call it.
Let's call it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
If you concede, let's call it.
No, you won. You won 35 minutes ago, easily.
Fair enough. Let's call it then.
You won when you vomited. No comment.
I didn't. I won't confirm it. I did not vomit. I will not confirm it.
You don't need to confirm it. I don't need you to do that.
Kyra
says S for stop. Seriously. Jason McConnell says Weekend at Cosby starring Uncivil Law. Okay. So we're done drinking, right?
Yes. No.
You are done drinking. I'm not. I will drink more as long as you don't. How's that? Is that fair?
Let's say yes.
I have to drink to save you from dying?
If you drink more, I'll drink more.
No, I'm trying to drink more so you'll drink less.
If you drink more, I'll drink more.
What if I don't drink anymore?
I won't drink more.
All I'm drinking is Canada Dry. That doesn't count. I want you to live through the night.
Fair enough.
Okay. Chat, look. I am straight edge from now on until Kurt is sober. Okay? By the way, likes in chat for Kurt to live through the night. We're at 874. We got to do that. We got to get there. I'm drinking only Canada Dry. No more whiskey. My whiskey glass is empty. There's only drops in here. Those don't count. Okay. So, let's do this. Let's do the second degree murder analysis. I say there's too much reasonable doubt. So, to prove the underlying second-degree murder, to get to the legal questions, they have to show that Chauvin basically felony assaulted George Floyd. To do so, they have to show that Chauvin created a situation in which intentionally he inflicted serious bodily injury on George Floyd. Right?
Yeah.
Is that your assessment? We're concurring in that? Okay.
Yes.
Serious bodily injury involves typically a laceration that needs stitches, broken bones, a head injury, death. Death is a really fucking good indicator of serious bodily harm.
It would be.
Okay.
Would be, yes.
My problem with this, because Chauvin is a cop, we get complicated. At this point. We say, okay, Chauvin is a cop, so he has some license to create injury. If you get tackled by a cop and you scuff your elbows and knees and your nose because you're on the fucking asphalt, right? Yeah. There is not a gross misdemeanor charge of felony a gross misdemeanor charge of assault against you. Whereas if you're a person and you throw someone on the asphalt and you handcuff them, they have a gross misdemeanor charge against you for assault, right? Like you
Yes.
scrape their elbows, you scrape their knees, you scrape their nose.
Yes.
Assault. Okay, that's
Yes.
bodily harm, not serious bodily harm.
Yes.
Okay, so cops get a little bit of deference.
Yes.
I say that Chauvin was trained on neck restraints. Now you're causing serious bodily harm to yourself. Don't do that.
Yes.
Chauvin was trained on neck restraints.
Yes.
Chauvin, and that is in the that is not only in the training manual. When Chauvin went through his officer initiation, it was 19 years ago. It was actually different. They have revised the training since then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I say Chauvin was trained on a neck restraint with the legs.
Yes. Yes.
He applied the neck restraint with the legs. And based on the attenuating circumstances, we've got a crowd that is hostile. We've got a street, and we've got a person who is uncooperative, and he has reason to believe maybe on drugs. That Chauvin is continuing the restraint to the point of it being clear, and that point only occurs when the ambulance shows up, picks up Chauvin for a hot, whatever it fucking is, a hot resuscitation, which the EMTs acknowledge that the situation is too dangerous to resuscitate him on the ground. They have to take him away. A load and go. Load and go is the fucking words.
Yes.
I say the load and go itself, by its nature, mitigates Chauvin out of second-degree murder. What say you?
Okay.
Do you have any crackers?
Not right now. Yes.
Okay. So
I
say they can't get to second-degree murder because of the load and go. What say you?
I can't respond. I can't deal with it. I'm sorry.
Do you need to go? Do we need to end this show? Because if you need to end the show, I will end the show. It's no big deal.
I want to deal with the legal analysis. I can't.
You cannot do a legal analysis. You've drank like 500 milliliters of whiskey. And then like 300 milliliters of wine.
Yes, I did. I drank the bottle. 750. 750.
At least you can still do math and read, so we're good.
Yes, I can do that.
We're in good shape.
I'll do anything it takes to.
You need to drink bread. Drink bread. Jesus Christ, I've drank too much. You need to eat bread and call a hospital.
No.
Okay, you need to eat bread. And
Yes.
you probably need to go lay down.
Yes.
Let me close out the show. You won by a long shot.
Nick, I can beat your ass. I can beat your ass. A legal analysis. It'll take time. It'll take analysis. It'll take a little bit more deference. I can do it.
Less whiskey, though.
I'll do that too. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
I'm going to assign you some homework. Some legal analysis homework. Please, for the love of Christ, go eat as much gluten as you can find and then go collapse into your bed. Can you do that for me? So that tomorrow I can message you and you'll be alive to respond?
I'll be alive.
I'm not sure about that. Is that a real thing?
As far as
God damn it. I'm going to dismiss you from the stream. You have drank way more than me. You win, by the way.
We had a competition.
You won the competition. I conceded. Stop drinking whiskey. Jesus Christ. You only drink water tonight. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I won't.
If you pick up that whiskey again, I'm going to drive down to Austin and beat you to death. Jesus. Tell you what, let's do this. I'm going to read the super chats, but you are not going to stay for the super chats. You need
As
to
you
go.
Wish.
You need to go to
As
bed.
you wish.
Look, I've been where you are. I know the look. I know the speech. And you win. I love you. I love you, and that's why I don't want you to die. So please go to sleep. And I will message you tomorrow, make sure that you are alive for me. And we can continue this conversation literally anytime.
Absolutely.
All right, buddy.
I love you.
I love you too. Unironically, I think you're one of the funniest fucking people, and you're probably my favorite law tuber. Don't tell the others.
I'm sorry if I.
No. Stop. Don't you dare get to drunk apologies. Just go to bed like a super Chad that you are. You fucking killed me in drinking.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay?
Fair enough.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Okay. We got. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me get the. I'm here. Give me a second. I'll get the webcam pulled up. Everyone who ever in their life thought that oh shit. Hold on. Who thought I drank too much? Kurt wins. He is a true consummate gentleman. I will send Kurt a wellness check tomorrow, but not through the courts or not through the legal sides because that's, I don't believe in swatting, but I'll check up on him tomorrow. Okay, guys? I'll check up on him. Kurt was a fantastic sport. Amateur Ant says, you pussied out, Nick. I have never, ever in my life professed to be a good or proficient drinker. Ever. I am the guy who says I'm a bad drinker. Everybody else is better than me. Kurt challenging me was his own rookie mistake because I'm the guy who says I drink less than you think. Every single time. It's the magic of TV. Makes it look like I drink a lot. I actually don't. Tonight was a really, really heavy drinking night because I had about 6 to 7 shots. I don't even know anymore. And that's too much for me. I'm not going to drink anymore because if I drink anymore, I will throw up, and I don't like throwing up. I'm bad at that. So that being said, I am sufficiently trashed, by the way. I'm sufficiently trashed. You'll not get me pretending. But I'm not a fan of drinking until I throw up. Okay? Maybe Human says, Ricada Law is a cheater. He drinks apple juice pretending to be whiskey. Maybe Human? Good sir. With respect. Fuck you. I never lie about my drinking. People just think I drink more than I do. Oh, let me say this, though. We're at 953 likes. 47 more likes, and I will take my 1,000 like shot. I'm not a bitch I'm still going to take the shots that I promised at 1,000 likes. So that's up to you, chat, if you want me to do that. But that being said, I am about 6 to 7 shots deep tonight. Typically, I vomit past 10 to 11. I don't like to get there. So we're okay still on this. But Kurt way outdrank me. Much deference and much love. Much love to Uncivil Law. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Uncivil Law's channel, I cannot recommend his channel enough. He's on here. He's goofy. He's drinking way too much. It's a big fun thing. That's phenomenal. Let me just say this, though. Whether he's right or wrong, and I'm fixing the chat window. Sorry about the delay on the chat window. Whether he's right or wrong, Kurt, to his detriment, and believe me, as someone who's been playing this YouTube game for over 3 years, from a legal standpoint, it is literally to his detriment. Kurt is probably the purest legal analyst of any legal YouTuber. Anybody. And if you want a guy who's genuinely trying to noodle out the legal issues, he is the guy. I would recommend him over Nate the Lawyer, who I love, by the way. I'd recommend him over Viva Frey, Robert Barnes, and I'd recommend him over Emily Baker. All of us are trying to suss out the legal issues. I would give Kurt top marks, being the most intellectually consistent. He's a really, really good dude. He's a really, really thoughtful attorney. And if you want an honest, unfiltered legal opinion, he is the guy. I try to deliver it to you, but I know I have some biases and I know I have some mitigations here and there. I try not to do it. It's not conscious. It's subconscious at this point. But Kurt is really, really good. He's a really good and really genuine guy. The problem with being genuine on YouTube, if I can confide in you guys, and I'm going to have to go take a piss in just a second. If I can confide in you guys about this, the problem with being genuine on YouTube, people don't like when you're genuine, because genuine legal opinions draw unpopular moral opinions. And people conflate legal with moral opinions. That's why I was trying to very clearly delineate between legal and moral questions on the death sentence. Because morally, look, I want everybody on the fucking wall. I want the government to kill literally everybody. Fuck you. You mess with a kid, get killed. I don't care about that. Like, suffer not the pedo to live is my fucking... Should I do that? Should that be a shirt? Suffer not the pedo to live? Holy shit, why haven't I made that into a shirt? Why haven't I put that on the crotch of women's pants? Suffer not the pedo to live. That's a shirt tomorrow. Okay? That's a shirt tomorrow. Suffer not the pedo to live. That being said, legally, I come to questions about the death penalty. I got to take a piss. I'm not going to vomit like a bitch. I haven't drank enough to vomit, but I'm going to take a piss. I'll be right back. See you guys in just a second. I'm back. I'm back, and in no way did I throw up. Oh, Jesus Christ. You guys hit 1,000 likes. Why would you do this? Why would you do this? Here we go. Kentucky Owl rye whiskey. This is the best rye whiskey on the fucking planet. Is 60%. God damn it. I can't do this. Okay. I could not drink. That was easily a double. That was terrible. I would die. I would die. The hell is this? Angry Baneling messaged me. Angry Baneling messaged me. He says, your best drunken idea to date, in case you forget, equals suffer not the pedo to live on shirts or women panties. And he says, don't even not think about doing it, bro. We're doing it. We're doing it. Here's the Kentucky Owl bourbon. We'll drink the rest of this in a minute when I can regret my life decisions. Jason Smoot says, so entertaining, but keep streaming, Nick. Well, we will for a little bit. We're way over time. These shows are supposed to be 3 hours, and you degenerates keep me here for well over 3 hours. Icon of Sin. I didn't forget the piss song. I don't have my Stream Deck, which has it on it. There's not going to be Twitch tonight. Sorry, Ranosaurus Rex. There's just not. I'm sorry. I would love to do Twitch. I'm way, way too trashed to do Twitch. Christopher Gorey says, do me a solid and not miss my $10 super chats for the third show in a row. Look, yesterday's show had some fucked up stuff where they moved the super chats on me. I don't know why. I will not miss it today. I will not miss it today. Okay. Drink some bread, Boomer. God, I wish I had some bread down here. By the way, I want to mention something. I am going to start doing daytime Twitch news, meme, and video reviews where the chat suggests stuff, I bring stuff, and we just for like 2 to 3 hours, we do a Twitch live stream. We bring in topics. I look at them. I give you my opinion. And then those topics on Twitch make short videos on YouTube. All right? We're going to do that very, very soon. I think it's going to be a great show. It'll be during the day on Twitch. I want to build my Twitch platform. Look, guys, let me tell you this. I am never, ever not honest with you. Okay? And I will answer all sorts of questions. I'm very candid about this stuff. I want my Twitch channel to be... I would love my Twitch channel to be as profitable as my YouTube channel. Let's be real about that. I don't think it'll ever get there, but I want my Twitch channel to be bigger than what it is. So what I want to do is I want to put together a compelling show during the day on a schedule for Twitch. and then I want that to be the source of YouTube videos. That way, there's this interesting, amazing thing called combining your work, right? Where you combine the effort and then end up with multiple streams of revenue for each one. I want to grow my Twitch channel. I want my Twitch channel to be 100,000 followers. Just my YouTube's 161. I want my Twitch channel to be 100,000 followers. I don't care how many subscribers or whatever on Twitch there are. I want daytime viewers to be able to go to Twitch, watch a show that's great, that is about sort of mainstream content, mainstream commentary, and then I want to put those clips up on Twitch or up on YouTube, up on YouTube, and I want people to come to the live shows for Twitch. I want people to come to live shows for YouTube. That's what I want to do. Twitch moderation is worse. I agree. However, my YouTube short videos are already a step down in severity from the YouTube live streams. And my YouTube short videos are all in full compliance with Twitch moderation. Not worried about it. Not worried about it at all. Sean Clark says, what time would these streams be? Probably 1 p.m. Central Time. It'd be the time that I normally be recording short videos. Now, I'm a Twitch partner, so everything I do on Twitch has to be uploaded to YouTube at least 48 hours later. And let me put this out to everybody. I am looking to hire for money an editor to edit down Twitch and YouTube content into short YouTube videos. Send me ricadalaw@ricada.org. Send me your resumes. Send me your resumes if you are interested in editing down my long form content into shorter YouTube content that's digestible, that is whatever. We're going to talk about how to structure that. It'll be a great thing. Needs to be done. I should have done this years and years and years ago. Send me your resumes if you're interested in the job. If you're not interested in the job, if you don't have the experience, if you don't have any editing experience, don't do it. I'm not going to hire you. I cannot do it just as well right now. Okay? But send me your resumes, we'll talk. I will interview you, we'll do all those things. Okay. Whew. Whew. Super hammered. Kyra says, Uncivil, please seriously go get some water. He needed to go to bed. That's what he needed to do. Uncivil was more fucking trash than anyone I've ever seen in a while. Okay? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do that. You think I'm drunk? Let me tell you a secret. I was born in the drink. I was born in the liquor. I'm fucking drunk, okay? There we go. Joseph Kerwin says, Nick approaches alcohol like a British woman doing her family obligation. 1,000 likes. Well, lay back and think of England, says the Nick. But our dear Uncivil approaches alcohol with a wholesome enthusiasm. The man needed to stop, Joseph Kerwin. He might die tonight. He might die tonight. What are you talking about? He needed to not drink as much as he did. Mask Cucko. Send me your resume. Send me your resume. I'm not a snob. Send me your resume. I'll take the it's a lot of factors. Let me be real about this. It's about who can work with me, and I'm a diva. I'm a bitch, whatever. You got to be able to work with me. You got to be able to deal with the pay, whatever that may be. We can negotiate. And you've got to be able to deliver the product on time. That's the key factor there. And you better deliver a good fucking product, by the way. And what will help your resume, if you're looking to work for me on this, is showing me what you can do with a live stream. Show me how you can make it a good product. And then also, if you really want to make a good resume, criticize my product and tell me what you need to make a better one. Because this is the thing that I think a lot of editors fail at. Based on nothing. But I think it's true. A lot of editors take the content as it is and they say, this is what I can do with it as it is. What editors should do is say, this is what I can do with it as it is. But if you do this and this and this, I can make something fucking great. I can make it great if you add this camera, if you do this thing, if you record in this way, if you change the angle, if you change the lighting, if you change how you approach topics, whatever it is, you do those things and you sell me on it, I'm going to hire you. There we go. Angry Baneling, my Patreon logo, all my stream overlays are about to get redone. They're about to get redone. I can't do it, so it takes a little bit to do it. Ryan Case, how long is this offer going to be open for? What is the time frame so we can try to give you a good prototype to work with until I hire someone else? I don't know how to qualify that. If I find someone, like if someone emails me tomorrow with a great resume and a great product, they say, "Look, I can do this for you." I'm going to hire them tomorrow. If they do that in a week, I'm going to hire them in a week. Sorry, capitalism doesn't have presets. Okay. Let's do super chats. I can't close my eyes. You have to understand. If I close my eyes, Uncivil Law, you better not fucking be in here. What is wrong with you? Jesus Christ, go to bed, Uncivil Law. What the fuck is wrong with you? Go to bed. Go fall over on that horizontal plane in a way where if you vomit, you won't die. Come on. You won already. I concede victory to you. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, let's do these super chats. God damn it. Damn it, Uncivil Law. Why would you do this to me? Gravy Gator. I wish I could express to you. I'm very, very inebriated. Inquisitor Lockhart says maybe he's chatting from the comfort of his bed. Don't you do that. You know he's not. You know he's not. That motherfucker's like walking around Austin like, hey, I outdrank Ricada. What do you fucking got on me? He's texting from his phone right now. Jesus Christ. No. No. Night of Hope. No, Gravy Gator says, my company has made the decision to move from New Jersey to Texas. I've been given the opportunity to decide how we give New Jersey the finger when we leave. Also, I was given a budget of $15,000. Look, if you're not oh shit. If you don't send every New Jersey public employee the meatspin.com link, I don't know what you're doing. Seriously, if I close my eyes, I get the spins. If they're open, I'm fine. Never close your eyes. Night of Hope says, being highly familiar with Memphis and the area, I can assure you that being short and necklace aren't even the fifth and sixth things wrong with Ralph. Beneath the yee ass voice and porky aroma, sure to find a universe of bad parenting and poor choices. Look, for whatever his faults are, people don't understand this. I like Ralph. Ralph is a funny guy. He's thin-skinned. He's good to make fun of, whatever. That doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Ralph is Ralph. And if you hate Ethan Ralph, then maybe you should fucking grow a pair, you fucking pussy. Because you're a giant vagina if you hate Ethan Ralph. Laugh at him, fine. Enjoy his content, fine. Enjoy making fun of him, fine. Why would you hate a billboard? Why would you hate a billboard? He's just him. He's unapologetically Ethan Ralph. You know what you're getting. He's not lying to you. He's not pretending to be something else. He's thin-skinned to his detriment. He's thin-skinned. He's a fat, funny YouTuber. What the fuck else do you want? What are you looking for? Jesus Christ, if you hate Ralph, something's wrong with you, not Ralph. Not Ralph. You know who he is. There's no deception. There's no cover-up. Jesus Christ. Stop hating people. Why do you hate anybody? I don't hate anybody. I laugh at them. I laugh at people. They're fine. They're funny. But Jesus Christ, stop it. Yeah, Ralph is short. Of course Ralph is short. Have you seen him? He's fucking short. He's a short, fat guy. He's also miles of entertainment. And he's been providing you content for years. Chill out. Just roll with it. It's fine. Oh my God, I'm drunk. Knight says it's not just operant conditioning. It's a thing called schedules of reinforcement. Believe it was Skinner that talked about it. Basically, when you're rewarded less than 100% of the time, you're more motivated by that to produce effort to get the reward. Malik Foxton says, my man Crowder was back to YouTube this month, and I couldn't be happier. I want to see how long he lasts before all his fuck YouTube gets him removed again. Shit. Knight of Hopex says, I sometimes consider that I would rather be dead than belong to the species that is capable of this level of viciousness. So, thanks for reminding me of that. Seems like 50-50 odds that all parties involved would have been better off if it was never existed. Dogsplain. Read that one. Bad Dragonite says, it's not a form of execution, but interestingly, the major prison here in Mississippi, Packman, actually invented a form of torture. It would blast inmates with a fire hose, then leave them in a room with full blast air conditioning for 3 days. Fuck that. Night of Hope says, this has been my case against the internet-related tech companies in general. They're quasi-government actors in that they can't be sued in and of itself. They have governmental authority. Never mind all the background control they get over web infrastructure. The internet is very certainly a government-controlled space. The amount of licensing easements and other regulations that control how the internet operates is unfathomable. It's impossible to create your own private internet alternative for these reasons. Bad Dragonite says, Thomas, find the ball. Nick, it's on the futa. Yes. Yes, no less than 8 scrotums. Dungeon Master says, I saw this in the chat and had to pass it on. If when you set up that lawyer D&D game, please do. You could call it rules, lawyering, also in Kermit voice. We're going to need a bigger wall to fit all these goddamn kid diddlers. Thank you, Dungeon Master. Cato the Censor says execution should be quick, legal in public. Bad Dragonite says in Death Note, when Kira writes someone's name down, is that protected speech or murder? By the way, Nick, if you haven't seen Death Note, it's one of the few anime I think you'd really like, up there with Cowboy Bebop for me. Look, I have not. I'm familiar with the concept, but I can't comment on the questions. Really drunk. Really drunk. Don't close your eyes when you are drunk. Keep them open. Let's do this. Nick Ricada says, my name is Nick Ricada of Ricada Law, and my favorite whiskeys include Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Fireball, and Military Special. Please deliver these whiskeys by the dozen at USPS, P.O. Box 97, Spicer, Minnesota 56288. Shadows King sent me a bunch of L's. Fuck you. Silky Johnson says, but anyway, that last super chat was a bit dark. Stories like that break my heart, man. So for levity, please say, as Kermit the Frog, nihilist, fuck me. I mean, say what you like about the tenets of National Socialism, dude. At least it's an ethos. Facts Not Feeling says, as Kermit, I can't do a Kermit impression. I drank too much. All you ladies, pop your pussy like this. Shake your body. Don't stop. Don't miss. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now. My neck, my back. Lick my pussy and my crack. As a prosperity preacher, the school who should get the wall. God damn it. Night of Hope X says, I'm tapping out on this one. You guys got way too freaking wasted. Watching you drink is making me sick and I don't drink lol. Look. Wait a minute. Night of Hope. You can't be more of a bitch than me. How can you be more of a bitch than me? Give me a second. Gotta keep my eyes open. Closing my eyes means the world starts spinning. Facts Not Feeling says, as Kermit sing, all you ladies, pop your pussy like... God damn it. Pop your pussy like this. Do it. Do it. Do it now. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. God damn it, I read this. I read this Night of Hope says I'm tapping. God damn Wolfgang Deo. No! Says the issue of Google versus Oracle seems to be not that Java is like Harry Potter, but that Google wrote a fanfic in the Harry Potter universe, and now the creator is jealous that their work is superseded in the eyes of fans. Also, books are like programs. Malik Foxen, god damn it. It says, dude, Kurt, where are you in Austin? I'm about to come over there and take all your whiskey bottles for the night. Jesus, dude, grab a whole loaf and lay on your side. Bro, seriously, Kurt, I'm too drunk and you are way more drunk than me. Way more drunk than me. Focus. Sharon Young says, please send a prayer up for my mom. She has stage 4 cancer and is back in the hospital again tonight. Just got the email a couple of hours ago. Sharon Young, I pray genuinely for God to intercede in your mom's illness, for him to provide wisdom beyond the knowledge and understanding of the doctors treating her, for him to provide healing beyond the expectations of the experts, and for him to provide peace and solace to her family and you specifically. Thank you. Shadows King 101 says, stay taking L's, Nick. You can kiss my ass, loser. Next time, try to drink this more your speed like Diet Soylent. Look, I'm going to fight with you. Not going to fight with you. Cormoran says, 2 drunks enter, 1 drunk heaves. I am not throwing up tonight. I will not throw up tonight. Twilight Dragon 3 says, Drexel isn't here to save the show if you get too drunk. I know. Christopher Gorey says, Nick, I live in a world where 2 murderers walk after killing a 66-year-old man, and the putrid likes of Amber Heard and Toye are undefeated in court. Give me something to restore my faith in justice. Never have faith in justice. Faith in individuals. Faith in justice is faith in a system, and systems are corrupt. Blasphemous Atheist says, hey, I would like to suggest the blockchain to solve the centralized corporate media platforms. Ethereum, Cardano, and Harmony are all aiming to make decentralized dApps and platforms. Yeah, great till they get sued by the SEC like Odyssey. CJ says, play Pathfinder is better. Kingmaker on PC. I played Pathfinder Kingmaker on PC. Pathfinder, those motherfuckers at Owl whatever. Owl, I don't even remember, Owl Studios. They said, hey, would you promote our new Pathfinder game? And I'm like, yeah, bitches, what's up? And then the person who reached out to me was fucking gone from the company. I don't know what to do. I would love to promote the new Pathfinder game. I wish they'd pay me for it. Pathfinder Kingmaker was fucking awesome, even though I'm bad at it. I would love the new Pathfinder game. Paul DeFries says, I'm a paralegal, and the first thing I learned is that it's probably not a good idea to sue without legal representation. Yeah, and lawyers learn this too. You know, Funny Valentine says, related to my prior chat, best edition of D&D. There is no best edition of D&D, but it's second edition. Thank you. Carson Depp says, Skippy Jessup is even creepier than Russell Greer. Mike Hunt says, Nick is 5'1". Do I look 5'1", bitch? Do I look 5'1", bitch? Crackpot says, Tim, are you ever going to talk about the Odyssey Libri case in depth? Yes. Yes. Stay tuned for that. While the Dragon says, have you heard Greer's latest song, Yo Yovana, the great Citrus Set did a wonderful parody? I've not heard it. Jason Stevens says, I've read that Roe versus Wade set the precedent for medical record privacy. Like all vaccine passports, people now anti-Roe. No. What Kurt and I were talking about was specificity of the question. Roe versus Wade answers the question of, if you are a woman who's pregnant and wants to kill her baby, do you have medical privacy? Yes. Do you have medical privacy anywhere else? No. Mr. Weasel LaFerret says, hello, there's a shooting by my neighborhood in Frederick this morning, and 2 people are shot and sent to Baltimore Hospital. Take a shot and offer a prayer. No and yes. I pray for the health and safety of those shot who are in Baltimore Hospital. I hope the violent shootings ease up. Ease up. I do not want people to die. Emily Wooten says, buying you a drink. Drink up, Nick. I'll take that up a different day. Mike Hunt says, loving the manly manversations topics lately. Weddings and 40K, super macho. Robert Levito says, hey, Nick, my cousin recently got into scotch. Any newbie recommendations? Get him a Lagavulin 16. What the fuck is wrong with you? Tenjin Ken says, circa 2010-ish in Hawaii, June Jones was the top paid state employee in the islands. Job, UH football coach. Pay $1.2 million, if I recall. Taylor Cook says, with regard to NCAA athletes making money, South Park for this. Also, college sports are as pure as the Libertarian Party. CJ says, great time to make a song based off of NBC 3-tone. Crackbot says, would I be able to declare myself a woman to gain the Roe versus Wade privacy protection only if you're pregnant and want to kill your baby? Those are the other 2 portions of that. But if so, for both of those other ones, yes. Jordan L says the actual Java interface is open source under OpenJDK. What Oracle owns is an implementation of the JVM. Copyrightable APIs would have been bad. TK Shade says the best homeschool option is the Robinson curriculum. Alder Fee, welcome to super lawyer status. Carnicle Blackburn says, Uncivil Law, isn't he the guy who assaulted the police at the Capitol with a fire extinguisher? Yes. Samantha Schoner says, I've heard of an execution method where you tie the victim down on top of bamboo shoots. They will slowly grow up and push their way through the body. That sounds fucking terrible. Don Face. Have you guys even reached my level of intoxication? Jesus. Crackbot says, Nick, this is just because you are awesome. That is all, with a huge chat. Thank you. Samantha Schoner says, I've heard of an Shit, I read that one. Don Face says, allowing a life sentence over death sentence gives maximum opportunity for the individual to provide evidence of innocence. I agree. The question is whether that's good or bad. Carnicle Blackburn says, I think our prison system needs to be reworked. Instead of years served, it's debt repaid to the damaged parties. If they do not have the money, then they, 1 out of 2, are sent to a rehab center where they work off their debt and develop a skill. Some of the money goes to the damaged parties and to the state. They can save the leftover or buy things for their stay. That's a good question. One of the remedies in Minnesota is restitution. Question is, how do you pay restitution if you are... Wait a minute. Why are likes at 900? I swear likes were over 1,000. Weren't likes over 1,000? Am I crazy? I swear likes were over 1,000. What the fuck happened to them? A real question. In the, they were. Yeah, they were. What the fuck happened? I watched the likes go over 1,000. The fuck is this? Fuck you, YouTube. Susan, you goddamn cunt. Fuck you and your fucking ass, you bitch. I know the likes were over 1,000 because I poured liquor because of it. Fuck you in your goddamn mouth. I hope you drink all the fucking semen, you fucking cunt. Anyway, one of the problems with restitution, which is a punishment for theft, is that how do you do restitution if you're in jail? Much better way to restitute the other party, the damaged party, is to be employed. And if you're in jail, you're not employed generally. CJ says, I hear there's some great wine shops by one of the former Minneapolis police precincts. You guys should go there. I'll send the address. Fuck you. Luminaire says, willing to run D&D for you, Nick. Just say the word. Joshua Sanabria says, that big question took up my super chat budget for the month. Haha. Just wanted to hear different perspectives and add to the convo. Never a dull stream. Amateur Ant says, how do you guys feel about the effed up divorce laws for men in this simp/HJW country? I think they're overblown. My honest opinion is I think they're overblown. I think the fear that men have in the divorce courts is based on hype more than reality. Now, I'm not saying people shouldn't be cautious or whatever. I also think prenup should be for literally every wedding should have a prenup. We should normalize prenups. That being said, I just think in general, the idea that men are going to lose half what they own on every single divorce and that's going to happen every single time is naive. It's naive. It doesn't recognize who is actually getting married and who they're getting married to most of the time. Most divorces are not solid marriages. That being said, I support prenups in every single marriage. Kyra says, press S for STAP. Teresa Klinkenberg says, you two are cracking me up. Oh, I'm glad that happened. Cecil says, drink a fifth, then plead it. Rhinosaurus Rex says, Nick, what a shame for display. To redeem your honor, you must engage in ancient art of anus. Gulp. Gross. Dark Luch G says, I disagree if Uncivil dies during this drinking contest. Enters in the same halls as Arakian of Figelia. Let the games begin. I don't want him to die. I like him. Bada Beer says, let him talk to you about Floyd. He was too drunk for that. We'll do it a different time. Cecil says, is challenging you to a drinking competition. MS says, who would win in a boxing match, Floyd or Chauvin? Floyd would win in a boxing match. Knees aren't allowed. S. Scipio says, this is like Johnny Fever versus Venus Flytrap on WKRP. Drunk Nick gets smarter and faster. Drunk Uncivil starts looking for funny hats. Cecil says, Nick, there's a 90% chance you'll be charged with manslaughter. I know. I'm trying to get him to live. You guys have no idea how hard it is to not blink. Because every time I blink, I get closer to vomiting. Amateur Ant says, Cecil, when can we make Yancel happen? Snapchat screenshot says, love the Uncivil Law dating video. Kurt, any luck finding firm butts to fuck quarters off of? Look, if you're not looking for firm butts to fuck quarters off of, you're not looking for the right woman, in my opinion. Quality Fando says, Nick, stop it. You have an obligation to keep Kurt alive. If he dies, I'll paint a very drunk Kurt in loving memory of him. Peace, mate. Elson. Amateur says, can someone make a grinder profile for both these lawyers with a pic of Peaches and Cecil? Bodybeer says, Nick, stay on topic for the love of God. Amateur Ant says, now I knew why Nick went to locals. Locals.recadalaw.com. For the love of Christ, if you're on Patreon, please fucking move to locals. I don't know how else to say it. Move to fucking locals. Patreon is shit. They hate you. They hate me. Move to locals where they love both of us. Death Trout says, Kurt's head looks like a vodka reformed into the potato. Kyra says, he needs to stop, drink water, and go to sleep, and you need to check on him tomorrow morning. I will. Mr. Ant says, he went to the bathroom and filled the bottle with water. Nick went and made a profile on Grindr. Andrew says, Kurt needs to tap out before he gets more angle slammed. Eat wild turkey, not drink. Master Blaster says, just taking back my earlier chat, just so Uncivil Law will wake up tomorrow. Kurt, you're a true warrior, bro. He's a Superman. He's a Superman. Cecil says, ooh, he needs some milk. He doesn't need milk, Cecil. He needs crackers. Saltines in volume. Versi says, lay down on your side. Lay down. The motherfucker should sleep standing up if he wants to live. Bada Beer says, is he not your friend? Why would you do this? He did it. I didn't do it. I tried to tell him to stop. Finger Bailing says, Kurt, please drink some bread and eat some water. Amateur Ant says, George Floyd wanted his last date with his mama / GF. His drug dealer had different plans and Floyd gave him a fake 20. Ace of Spades says, as Kermit, remember, kids, violence is never the answer. It's the solution. Now let's go. Now let's go. Kermit's a felony of justice and round up those pedos. Kermit, a felony. I can't even do Kermit. Stop. Please. Please. You gotta stop. Join Watch Studios is Lemoyne. Where are the white women at? I only like white women because I like pink vaginas, not brown ones. Robert Levito says, I want to drink with Kurt. Everybody does. Amateur Ant says, if you didn't plan on living up to the deal, you shouldn't have had him on, Nick. You broke a basic handshake promise. Giggity. I did not. He just outperformed. Gordo Fabulous says, here's $2 for how red your nose is. It hadn't even begun to be red. Mandy Cravicius says, Nick, I just got here. Jesus Christ, what have you done? You're hammered, and I think I saw an old man crying. That was me. I was crying. Where the fuck are we? Bully Hunter XYZ Dragon Cannon says, do a shot. No. Do it. Also, I bought that shirt, Suffer Not a Pedo to Live. Thanks for being my first ever super chat. Hey, I hope it didn't hurt. Sometimes the first time hurts. Nate Walking says, best drinking game ever. Team Flip Cup. Lights out. Strobe light on. Dubstep so loud the house shakes. Must start while already drunk. We've not hit 1K likes yet. We hit 1K likes. It went away, and we hit 1K likes again. Jesus Christ. Andrew Ann says, if he dies, he dies. Stop being a crybaby, Rocky 4. Timothy Reaper says, miles of entertainment. Don't you mean pounds? Uncivil Law says, had fum. He sent a chat and misspelled it. Bully Hunter says, Nick, I outdrank you, and this is my $10 per 6-month limit, so enjoy it, fam. Haywood Jablomi says, great stream. Thanks for the entertaining evening, both of you. Pepperoni says, my neck, my back, lick my gunt and my crack. Look, guys, who doesn't want their asshole licked? Uncivil Law says, at Ricada Law, Nick, I had a good time. Hope you did too. I did. Please, Christ, go to bed, you madman. You win. You win twice. You win more than you could ever win before. Amateur Ant says, EVS doesn't finish reading Super Chat sober and loses people every time. He promotes comics in the chat and people leave every time comics are dead. Jeez. I will always try to read the chat. Uncivil Law, since I'm going to read this as written so you understand. C is capital. C-I open bracket T. RWEF. I fucking have no idea what Uncivil Law said there. It was CI open bracket T RWEF. Kyra says, hack the planet. Ace of Spades says, thanks for coming, guys. Join me again tomorrow, but YouTube piss off. It's the rest of my 1K shot that I poured. I wasn't going to drink it. I was going to let it go bad. I have to piss so bad. So bad. And I have to eat something. This fucking 60% liquor. Oh, God. Sage Emerald says Ron Toye. Great. Now everyone who unliked can relike until Nick dies. Finally, the GoFundMe money will be mine. Wah! 200 Watts Studio says, I wash my figure in parts in soapy water. Crackbot says, Nick, you won the online lawyer drinking match. Take a shot for your win. I did not win. Kurt won. Ace of Spades says, Kermit, Ralph is a wuss and I hate him. So does Nick. Damn. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Wolfgang says, Nick, don't die, but if you do, I'll make sure to check your wallet for cash before leaving your lifeless body on the side of the road. Don't die. I won't die. I'm not. Look, I'm very drunk, but I'm not death drunk. Kurt wins. Kurt wins every day. I will never dispute this. Never dispute this. Bad Dragon Knight, unless it will make me money, then I'll dispute it. Bad Dragon Knight says, Funny Valentine says, in reaction to my last super chat, best edition of D&D. Oh, wait, I read that one. It's whatever edition you like. It's second, it's fifth. It doesn't fucking matter. Joseph Kerwin says, Nick said he wouldn't vomit, but then the likes dropped back under 1,000. You guys saw that, right? That was fucking weird. The likes were well over 1,000 and the YouTube removed them. Okay, going to bed. I hope you guys having a good night. I don't have the ability to do my outro song. You'll just have to deal with that. I'm sorry I don't have my stream deck plugged in. Peace. Peace.